Yes, yes, yes. It is the Cast Worthy Podcast, and we are back. I am Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed, on the Twitter machine, joined by EJ the Savage, and that is it. VP couldn't be here today, so it's 2-man game. We got you covered here. It's Sunday, March 26th, tail end of March Madness.
Oh,
see
oh!
see the Yukon, see the Yukon. Got to
Hey,
represent.
look who popped up like Kobe in the fourth quarter.
Well,
Oh,
right,
The snowman himself.
right.
going on, gents?
Stringer Bell.
The snowman. Yo, look at that beard, bro. We have got to get
I'm
him
gonna
in
get
a
you a chisel.
shop.
I'm gonna get you a chisel, yo. I know a
Holy,
traveling. I know a traveling guy. I know a guy who knows a guy.
holy cow. That man looked like he stole something. He looked like he stole a slice of pizza or a free butt grab on Miami strip.
Yeah, no, definitely a petty crime, and he been locked up for 20 years. We doing a
Exactly.
Netflix documentary.
Exactly. On how he lost his identity. This man is rough.
Product of racism. Uh,
Golly.
March 26th, man. Tail end. It's actually officially spring, isn't it?
Yeah, first day
Um,
spring passed.
First day of spring has passed. Come and go. Baseball season is coming.
Upon
Uh,
us.
M- NBA playoffs is coming. All the fun stuff. Summer is coming. EJ, are you still in a relationship?
Yes,
Oh
yes.
shit!
The tracker continues.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
Um,
the
what's the
life.
last? What's the last couples thing you did with your significant other?
Went to see Jill Scott recently, actually.
Okay.
When
Okay.
the basement and everything here was kind of underwork and I couldn't have access to the basement. She bought some Jill Scott tickets. Actually,
Uh, where was that at?
that actually wound up being in Philadelphia.
Okay. Yeah, Philly, that's where you can find all the neo soul Afro centric joints. I would love to see
Yo,
Jill Scott, man. I used to
di-
not like Jill Scott probably until she started deep throating the microphone on stage. Then I was like, you know what? I could go see Jill Scott.
she puts on a hell of a show, and it's funny because it's this tour is her 20-year anniversary of her debut album, I believe,
Mm.
and it's crazy because when you reach that status, she ain't even have to sing. She did back to back nights, but it's like when she's singing her classics, people all she got to do is be like, "Let's take," the whole crowd just a long walk, and then sing the lyrics after. It's just crazy how like
She-
90% of her hit songs she didn't even sing. She just let everybody
yeah.
else sing. It's
And she
hard.
got, when you have a crazy a dope fan base like that, you know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
the average person like myself hearing this would be like, Jill Scott got hits that people can sing. Like I know Let's Take, I know that one, but like I don't know any of the others. But I hear that she does. I hear like, you know what I mean. But it's just never. That's not my bag. Like it never was my bag.
Yeah, yeah.
Although I learned to respect her a lot more as she started, acting and kind of getting out there. Like we used to only see her in
Hmm.
videos, and then they painted people a picture away, like stars and shit, away back in the day before we had all this access. So, this is kind of a good thing and a bad thing, all the access we get to these people's lives. Sometimes it's too much, and sometimes it's good because you can see that they're actually human.
Yeah.
To say that with Jill Scott, I've seen a lot more of her. I've seen like some interviews and stuff like that, and she seems like a dope person.
Yeah, and she when you play her joints, she's got more joints that you're gonna be like, oh, okay. And you're right, that neo soul era just in Philly, like I was looking at Black Thought and
Mhm.
music and how these dudes dressed in the early 2000s. It
Bruh.
was so nasty.
Mm,
So nasty. But she put on a show, and shout out to Jill Scott because she made it very clear to the audience and talked about, black women, in some ways, I won't say not. She talked about not divesting from black men. She let people know, I'm gonna find me one. I don't care what I've been through. It ain't
support
every
them.
guy. I'm gonna keep doing it. So shout out to her.
I mean, listen, I don't subscribe to that, but it could be a two-way street. When I say I don't subscribe to it, I mean like I don't feel like you have to stick to just your culture or your race, to try and find happiness. And if you don't, you're not being supportive of. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't subscribe to it. But I get it. I get it. And I do feel like it goes two ways. So like you say Jill Scott did that and she's like, "Oh, we got to stand by black men." I feel like it should be it's the same thing as some people are saying black men need to stand by black women. So if
Mhm.
you do subscribe to that culture, I think it should be a two-way street. Like black men need to stick by black women need to stick by black men. It needs to be equal. But if you like me, you just like tea. I like sweet tea. I like unsweet tea. I like peach tea. It depends on the day. It depends on the day. You know what I'm saying? It's all tea at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, even where you landed, there's still you landed with someone that is not necessarily fully European Caucasian. So there's cultural things
Yeah.
because especially being up,
Similarities.
yeah, especially being from up north. If you go anywhere from, let's say, Jersey up, culturally, somebody that's Puerto Rican, Dominican, while there is intrinsic racism in a lot of things in your communities, we all learn very early that we're all niggas when it comes to
Right.
the powers that be. So, that's something that people don't share in the South because they have black neighborhoods and they have Hispanic neighborhoods. New York,
Hmm.
everybody is together. So, you know,
Yeah, you're right.
it, it's different.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
VP was good.
Uh, yeah, no, not much. Not
do
much,
you,
man.
do you like Jill Scott besides her Hooters?
I mean, I'm not really a fan of Jill Scott like that. Like, I don't dislike her. Like you said earlier, I like her in the movies that she's done, the Tyler Perry joints, etc.
Yeah.
Um, I know a couple of her songs, but like, if somebody told me like, hey, I got these Jill Scott tickets, like, you know, I might be like, I can see if somebody wants them.
Hmm.
You know,
Are they are they free?
you know, but uh, but to the latter part of the conversation, like, I get what she's saying, but I'm kind of like you. I don't subscribe to that thought either. Like, you like somebody, you like somebody. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, if you meet a person and that person is good for you, you're good for them. Like, who gives a shit what race they are? You
Hmm.
know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're all humans, and you're just looking for somebody to make you happy. You know, it's gonna make you happier as a black man that you with this black woman that is, you know, 80% of, everything that you like about a woman, versus if you were with this Asian chick that you met that you probably would have been the happiest in your life. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
it don't make any.
Submissive. She don't say nigga, but she don't know how to play spades. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know about all that.
But you guys, you know why you guys can never speak of relationship matters? Y'all ain't been out there. Like, you don't know what is going on in the streets. You guys have pretty much been with, y'all significant other for half of your lives or more.
EJ,
Mhm.
And
you
huh?
remember the movie Tommy Boy? Remember when he said I could
Vaguely.
get I could get a good look at a steak by sticking my head up a cow's ass? Like
No,
I don't have to be on the dating
no,
scene to know.
no,
Like,
it's no, it's just not the same. It's not. When you've been out there, it's a scary place, and you guys
but
have been safe for a long time now.
I agree with you, but you need to. you need to go spin the block a little bit. Well, you're in a relationship right now, so I respect that.
Yeah.
But when that ends here in the next,
Stop it.
uh,
Stop it. That's not the
should that
plan.
no, I hope it doesn't. But you're a different person when you're in a relationship. But should that end, and you end up looking again, um, I've told you, dabble in a little something different.
I
Dabble.
I can't
You
I
never know
can't
what you might find.
I
and and
can't.
and and
I,
to EJ, I mean, I'm sorry, to Steve's point, right?
Ah,
Like
fuck.
his tea analogy, like the shit was perfect. I don't know about the unsweet tea, but the rest, what I mean. You got sweet tea, fucking, and I think I know where he was going with the unsweet tea, but
This,
I
this
don't subscribe to
motherfucker,
the sweet
this
tea.
motherfucker's with his high school sweetheart who's blacker than him from Miami. Nobody want to hear it from you, dog.
No, I
Nobody want to
got you,
hear
but
it. Y'all
I'm
are the
just saying,
Huxtables of black families. What do you mean?
I'm
What
just
do you
saying, man.
mean?
At
You,
the end of the day, like if the person makes you happy, they make you happy.
no, we all agree with that, and I think that that's something that should be celebrated. But I believe, though, especially in today's day and age, okay, could you guys imagine, right, being single in 2020 and
no.
January 6th happens and you're with a white
Oh
woman that's like, oh, we should go and storm the Capitol
See,
well,
or
let me
Trump
back up a
or
second.
Trump voter.
right,
So
I
let
mean,
me
right.
let me
I wouldn't
granted,
be with her anyway.
your political views does not is not only single to your ethnicity and everything. But I'm just saying,
no, I get your point, and I definitely have had these conversations with folks before. And what I would say to you is that I couldn't date somebody who didn't believe some of the same things I believe politically, right?
okay,
Now, it's one thing if you feel one way about the death penalty and I feel a different way about the death penalty or whatever. You know what I mean? But
hmm
maybe you feel one way about taxes and I feel a different way about taxes. But like when we talk about like things that are like fundamental political beliefs for me, I couldn't date somebody like that because I feel like we're always gonna be at odds. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to take the country I live in a totally different direction than I believe it should go. You support someone like a Trump, for example, and like most Republicans, in my opinion, who in my mind are some straight up racist, some racist adjacent, and some who just dog whistle at racism. And you're supporting this. And even if you say, well, I don't really support the racism, I just like the tax cuts or whatever, the racism comes with the tax cuts. So I can't get jiggy with that shit. You see what I'm saying? So that I get the picture you're trying to paint, but that shit wouldn't work for me, and to give you an
yeah,
example in real life, my sister-in-law is like that.
is
She
that
is
Tiff?
married to a white dude who's a Republican.
Is that
And I'm like, I don't get it.
No, no,
I don't know.
Vari, or no, EJ. It's not who you're thinking.
Never mind, my bad.
Um,
but,
no,
but
but you know what?
yeah,
I think it's. Listen, I agree with you, VP. Like, I feel like leading up, I would know, especially you're talking about January 6th being so extreme. But what about the situation where you go out and you find somebody and you may not have had any conversation about politics? I know this is probably not normal for you because you watch CNN and whatever, like
MSNBC,
75 to
Rachel
85
Maddow.
percent of the time. But someone who's dating could go out and meet someone, have an amazing night, plan another day, go out, in that time, maybe not have any conversation about, politics and shit like that. Next thing you know, they're in a relationship and then they have that conversation. Like, does that overshadow and does that break the relationship? Is I guess the question.
Absolutely, absolutely, but I'm gonna say this too. You guys, right? Don't even you guys take for granted even the little things that you've been afforded. Like,
What if she got the Gawk 5,000 though?
no, he absolutely has to stop. Um, but even the little things that VP takes for granted, like if he says little Miami slang, you know how country he can get. You know what I'm saying? Only his wife can fucking understand him because she's grew up with him. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to explain what a jit is. You know? uh, Steve, you don't have to explain. where you come from and the identity, or when you go out, like you said to that one point, one Sunday, when you go out and somebody tucks the bag, there's just cultural things that you receive when you have someone who's in the same ethnicity as you. And, we all say you should be who you want to be, but there are some benefits. There's just some unwritten, unforeseen benefits that you have.
Do you think the reception or the people are received worse in the black community if it's a black man and let's say a black man and a white woman are together and they
Yes.
walk into a restaurant, and do you think they get received worse in the black community or in the white community if it's a white girl black man, same
Black
difference?
community for sure. Black community for sure. We've talked about this. Black men get vilified for being outside of the culture way more than anyone. Way more because black women's first response is, "Oh, there's so many black women out here," But when Eve and all of these other mega stars are with white guys, they're applauded because of the sins of the black men of yesterday and the things that they've done. It gets applauded, but when a black man does it, they talk about the numbers and the availability and why can't he find his sister with all of us out here, but no one talks about just being happy. So, um, yeah,
Do you think it's more judgment or do you think it's just more open judgment? Like, meaning we don't hold our tongue. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, black dude walks in with a Becky. Immediately, his black sisters and cousins gonna be like, "Oh, look at you! You got blah 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 blah." Right? In a white family, they probably not gonna say something until you not around and they eating dinner or something. They like, "Oh, Sarah's running around with Jamal." You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think you know the judgment is equal, except just more open when it comes to that situation in a black family, or do you think
I
it's
think
just
I
more?
think there's a difference, right? Because like on on our side, like on the black side, it seems more like to the point EJ making, where it's like a cultural thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, yo, you're gonna you messing with somebody who's not a part of the tribe, and you know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen with your kids? Who's gonna show your daughter how to braid hair, or how to cook up some oxtails or some shit, like you see what I'm saying? So it's like that kind of vibe, right? Who's gonna teach them about our history as if you couldn't do it or something like that, but still, that's the kind of vibe that's happening. Whereas if you are getting that thing, like you said, she's with Jamal, like from a white family, a lot of that shit seems steeped in racism. You know what I'm saying? And so um that's where I think the difference lies.
Okay. All right. I got you. Well, um, EJ,
Hmm.
happy to see that you're still in a hear that you're still in a relationship. Summer is coming. It is March 26th. It's officially spring. We will revisit next week and see how much longer we have from here.
Wow,
Um,
wow, that's so bad.
once the brunches and sundresses come out,
Mm,
It's so bad.
I know how you are.
mm.
Nah, I'm the same person all year round.
Oh, I
Like I
know.
told you, I'm activated in the winter more than the summer. So if
I
if I
bet.
made it this long, I'm cool.
Yeah, it's cuddle season. We got the extra, little
Nah,
sun.
don't cuddle me in the winter because I'm drunk. The summers I'm hot. I ain't trying to be outside, especially I'm on the northeast. It get hot, people out here start wilding. Them
Yeah.
clips, these young kids and the clips, they don't fight no more.
When it gets warm though is when it starts to get crazy, right? Because that's when you step out and you start to have fun, and then you get accused of cheating, and then you might choke a bitch, like Jonathan Majors has been accused of. So let's get into that. Jonathan Majors was accused. He was arrested yesterday.
Mm,
Actually, this is the story that's out. We haven't seen him or heard from him or his representatives.
mm,
But the story that's all over is that he was arrested yesterday in New York on charges of strangulation. And the story is that he denies it completely. He says he did nothing wrong. Additional details came out later yesterday, which is weird because, again, nothing from him or his representatives, that the person that made the accusation is his girlfriend or they're in a relationship. Um, and yeah, and she allegedly caught him cheating.
This is so tough, because as VP always says, everyone should be heard and not believed, right, VP?
Yep.
uh until proven, the facts are proven. But it's such a striking thing because, one, he's a black man. Two, he's young, and he doesn't even have his acting career to rely on. When you look at what happened with Johnny Depp and just how far that took his career and how far it didn't. If the allegations aren't true, it's a nasty thing. Obviously, as we always said here, if something like this is true, no matter who the person is, no matter the ethnicity, male or female, you're garbage and we don't like it. But for him, just to have something remotely like this in a budding time of your career,
Right.
especially if it isn't true, that is pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah. Um, I hadn't even heard about this. I just pulled it up real quick and read it. And that's one thing I love about foreign media. Like, no speculation, no conjecture, no opinions. The story is nice, sweet, and simple from The Guardian. It basically says he was arrested. New York City police were called. They showed up. 30-year-old woman. She said that, he did something. Police placed him in custody without incident. It said the victim informed police she was insulted, blah, blah, blah. They took her to a local hospital where she was treated for some minor injuries. The spokesman for Jonathan Majors said he's innocent. They're going to clear his name. And then it lists some movies that he's been in and that he's a rising star in the story. Just that's it. It doesn't say, well, back in 1992, like some shit we don't know, like, kudos to the Guardian. With that being said, it's what's wild about this is I'm not sure if y'all ever seen the Bill Burr. He has a part of one of his comedy stand-ups that he did where
Yeah,
he
the
talks about.
borderline racist guy.
I don't know if he's racist, but he's married to a black chick, but
See how we are. You see how we are. He gets a pass just because he got a black wife.
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying,
She could be a Republican. She could be Candace Owens.
hey, yeah, that's a point. That's a fair point, but I don't think Bill Burr's racist. I think he's one of those
You
comedians
think
that
he
He's
just toes
racist
the line?
adjacent. He's
I think he
racist
likes to push
adjacent.
I think he likes to push the envelope.
He's
Okay.
racist adjacent in my eyes. He's from Boston. He's grew up that way. He's one of them guys that knows
He's bald.
his whole family, all his friends have said racist shit their whole lives. And while he didn't like it, he didn't stop it either.
Like
So
you, like you
That's
people,
fair.
like you people when Jonah Hill was in Vegas and his man's was doing that wild shit. All right, go ahead, finish
That's
what you
that's
were saying.
that's fair. But in one of his stand-ups, he has a little sketch in it where he talks about how he was watching a show like The View or something like that, and they were saying like how it's never okay to hit a woman, right? And he
yeah.
was like, that's some bullshit or whatever. And he was like, I'm not advocating for hitting women. He was like, but I can give you a bunch of reasons why. He's like, just that you don't do it. You know what I mean? Like he was like, he was like, but you know, there's whenever there's an incident of some type of domestic violence, it always just goes to there's never it's never okay to hit a woman and there's no examination of what happened. He was like, because a lot of times he was like, you do have some guys who come home and they're like, tuna casserole, what the fuck? Boom, 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 boom. They start throwing blows. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
like, but sometimes when people get into fights in relationships, it could be like some end of the relationship, like World War III style fucking argument happening, and then shit just gets out of hand. You know what I'm saying? And so he makes that point. He was like, if I got bit by a rattlesnake Nobody would just say, "Oh, we gotta fuck up the rattlesnake" or whatever. They would say, what was going on before you got bit? Were you fucking with it? Like, were you doing something? Da 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 da. What made the rattlesnake get so angry that it tried to kill you? You know what I mean? And so, he was like, if a firefighter shows up to a burning house, they don't put it out and then drive away. They do an examination to see what happened. You know what I'm saying? And so, he does it from a comedy standpoint or whatever, right? But he makes like a fair point or whatever. While yes, it's not cool to beat up some chick or whatever. And again, we don't know what the fuck happened, but let's see what happened first. Watch this space, basically.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's just for me, I feel bad for the guy because personally, we've been talking about him a lot lately, and I've started to really like him a lot and seeing him everywhere. And he just has this great, persona about him. He's always happy. He doesn't give a fuck that people are like, oh, this nigga's being homo. He looks like a homo on these magazines. This nigga don't care. Like, he's, you know what I'm saying? He takes pictures of Michael B. Jordan. They hugging. Like, he don't care. He's comfortable in his skin. He's living his life. He's, taking in the stardom and everything that comes with it. And I've started to really like this guy. And even if it's not true, right? When you talk about domestic disputes, and they're saying she found, allegedly, she found that he was cheating or doing whatever, right? To your point, she could have really initiated the physical contact, right? And if she did, he does have the right to protect himself. And I don't mean protect himself in the sense where he's punching her in the face. This guy is brolic as fuck, you know what I mean? But keeping her from hitting him or causing him damage could cause for her to, to get like it was mentioned, minor damage or minor injuries, right? Which could be black and blues, right? When you talk about that, and also she could have gotten treated because she sees an opportunity, right? This guy is making millions and millions of dollars, right? But then also you start to think, is this a plant? Absolutely. um, he's, then you start to look like, is this a plan? This is a successful black man, you know what I mean? This is a guy that's taken over Marvel right now. He came out in Creed, and he is absolutely killing it. Did they plant this type of bullshit, to try and slow down his stardom from continuing to grow? In this society and in this country, I'll put nothing past it.
I think, in these situations, it's always delicate. It's always watch the space kind of moment. And VP's rule, I think, is always a good rule. Everybody should be heard, not heard. Not everyone should be believed. We saw what happened with just Johnny Depp, and that was one of the most glaring examples where we saw that somebody was just wilding and lying. I mean, taking shits on the bed, just out of control. You know what I'm saying? Just smear, and we're sure there's some truth to some things and everything, but it's tough, especially today, for a black man, let alone a famous one, to
Don't
be
fuck up that
innocent.
Marvel money, bro.
Yeah,
Like
to be innocent before guilty is tough.
Yeah. And that's the thing though, is like you said, EJ, a lot of people, it's a lot of guilt before innocence, right? And especially in um the like domestic violence, like sexual assault realm, like stuff like that. A lot of times people, they shoot and ask questions later. It's so again, more is gonna come out. He's not even in custody anymore.
mm,
They said she has some minor injuries to her head and to her neck. It could have been like Steve said, where she could have been assaulting, and maybe he's just trying to get her off of him or whatever. You know what I mean? Um,
Oh yeah, and
so
I forgot this part too. People vilified Tiger Woods, but this
for
is
what?
exactly what he was trying to avoid. He thought
oh,
old girl,
kicking that bitch out.
yeah, he thought old girl wasn't gonna go quietly in the night, and said, "Hey, we're gonna take a trip, girl. Pack your bags, baby. Anywhere you wanna
That
go."
See, and that's the other piece, right? In the chat, we got someone that says maybe they were having sex and she wanted to be choked, right? There's an opportunity there. Not saying that she wanted to be choked and then she's like, oh, let me call the cops. Maybe she wanted to be choked. Maybe that's why she has the marks. and now it's an opportunity to say, "Yo, he choked me." You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much that could happen here. I feel like don't fuck with the Marvel money. The Creed money is not as it's still big money, but I wouldn't be as concerned with it because you know it's Michael B. Jordan and them behind it. They gonna understand it. But Marvel, Disney, nah, ain't no
If he
ain't no
gave,
place
if
for
he
that in
gave,
the
if he
happiest
gave
place in the
Robert
world.
Downey, if he gave
Wait, but
Robert Downey Jr.
yeah, but Robert Downey is
That shit was different though.
yeah, and
I
he's
mean, one,
white.
he's white, and
Like
then but yeah, and then two,
except for when he's
you
black
know,
No.
in
You
Tropic
convinced
Thunder.
me. You convinced me. I mean, one of the only guys to pull off blackface in the
Hmm
2000s, and everybody enjoy it.
hmm
Whatever.
Nah, it's just it sucks, man. Again, it's a young guy who's well, I wouldn't say young, but in acting, right, in his career and in the blow up of his career, he's young. He's still in that where he probably has jobs upon jobs lining up, to get him in there. And then one little thing like this, because shit, look at Ezekiel Elliott, right? You had Ezekiel Elliott and more people like that we see all the time that these broad I mean Javante Davis similarly, right? We saw that recently. These broads, it's just a shame, man. It's fucked up. We live in a
But
fucked up world, yo.
but
This is
on
not a man's world anymore, yo.
but
This
on
man
the
was
other
taken into
side,
custody.
if he is guilty, hey, throw the book at him.
I wouldn't say the book, but yeah. I mean, we talk about minor injuries. We don't know the guilty could be like we said. He might have pushed her, like, get the fuck off me, bitch. We've all done that. We've all done that. Not like maliciously push, but like, yo, stop, like, get the fuck off me, yo. What are you doing? Because
Mm.
they mad. Yo, you just threw a fucking frying pan at me. Get the fuck out my face, yo. Get the, like, what's wrong with you, yo? You ain't done that?
VP VP. That's what I'm saying. We can't ask him. We can't ask him. We see who's behind him
Oh
every
yeah, they have.
Sunday. We can't ask him this.
She.
This guy, the slander.
uh,
oh
yeah,
god,
EJ, we gonna do a GoFundMe, yo. We gonna get you some AirPods or something.
They do fit. Studio
Uh,
quality, my boy.
they are studio quality. You look like a '90s DJ. Yeah,
That's
man. So hopefully there's nothing there, man. Hopefully there's nothing. And if there is, I agree with you, man. Hopefully, I mean, he needs to be charged. He needs to be held accountable. Accountability is key. We live in a place that lacks a world that lacks accountability these days.
hmm
Definitely. Um,
watch this space.
watch this space. Watch this space. What you guys been watching, man? EJ, you said you've been watching Best Man. You finally started watching the last episode. It's about damn time. Not like I didn't just watch it a couple weeks ago, but
Yeah, right.
VP, did you get a chance to watch it?
Of
No, I
course
haven't
not.
watched it yet, man. I've been,
You're a
I don't
piece
know,
of
man.
shit.
I've been on like some documentaries bag, yo. I've
Yeah,
been
you've
watching
been
a lot of
on
documentaries in the last couple weeks.
white people shit.
He doesn't watch
He don't
black
support
shows.
black shit. Me watching Lost and shit. Yeah. So Best Man, EJ. I guess you could give your thoughts without a swarm. Yeah. Without without
Nah,
without.
it's if you enjoyed again that 1990s, like the balding man commenting on our post here. If that was your era, that 1999 to 2000, 3-ish, best man type work.
I
It
love
was
it.
a great continuation. It was good
I
how
love
they
that
kind of
series, man.
it was good how they kind of surmised everything that happened leading up to it in a very short span of time.
Hmm
And then they took it there. You know what was funny to me though, and you mentioned it before, just the incorporation of different elements of family and Morris Chestnut's son. That's kind of where I left off, but it's kind of like you miss all of that in the entire series, and then identity, gender, and orientation comes into play with the most masculine guy on the show. So I found that to be interesting, and it's real life, and people have to deal with it, and it was just funny to see how they portrayed Morris Chestnut's character in that space. So that's where I'm at so far. But it's a dope series. Uh, Nia
Morris
looks
Chestnut,
delicious.
she does surprisingly.
Mhm.
Well, Nia used to always look like a baddie, but like in You People, she looked weird. Like I don't know, maybe it's me. She looked off in You People. Maybe it was because she was supposed to be an older person. I don't know, but
And it was older. It was an older, probably older film show or movie rather.
yeah, yeah.
He
Morris Chestnut
he made
did
Udoka.
yeah, he did a good job, man. Morris Chestnut played that role like perfect. And then they did a. I think I said this before. They did a great job making me hate Sanaa Lathan. Like I hated her at the end of this show, and then I realized it was just a show, but it was to the point where I was like, I'm unfollowing this bitch. Like I was about to start posting on her Instagram, like you dirty. You need to watch MVP. You gotta watch it, man. There's a
I,
lot
Yeah,
to it.
I
There's a
haven't
lot
got
to
there
it.
yeah,
yet, but I see it coming.
definitely got it on the radar.
Yeah.
You
What
know
else you
why
been
I
watching?
like shows.
That's right.
Oh, Wu Tang, as Chris said, I haven't caught the recent episodes, but let me tell you something. And Vari don't know nothing about rap, but the Wu Tang series on Hulu is fire, man. Like they did an episode on
Is this
how
season 2?
it's season 3, I believe. It's season
Okay,
two
go
or
ahead.
three, two or three. But
Okay.
they did an episode on how the purple tape was formed, and they just did like a theatrical just it's season 3, okay. They did a theatrical take on just how Raekwon and Ghost, kind of put the purple tape together and they made it like this movie. It like when you're talking about acting and brilliance, this show is on another level. Like them guys are on another level. The guy that plays ODB is like it's crazy and it's so hard. The only person that is very easy to still see who the real person is Dave East playing Method Man. Like
Oh yeah.
he delivers nothing. And it's kind of crazy because I guess in that essence, Meth was such a star back then, he might not have been around as much. But I mean, just to see the guy playing Inspector Deck, the guy playing Jizza, it's just crazy how it's done. And it's Steve, I'm telling you, you are really missing out now watching that show.
I got to get back to it. I watched a few of the first few episodes, and the dude that plays RZA was just annoying me. Like he was so annoying. His face is annoying. His voice is annoying. Um, but it was pretty good. When it started, it wasn't anything that it didn't catch me. Like yo, I got to keep going back to it. But maybe I'm gonna try and get back to it, man. Especially since I'm prepping to go see those guys in September. So,
Yeah.
um, I love Wu Tang as it is, but it'd probably be good to go back and watch that. Are they now with that? Are they involved in this story in the story writing of this,
Hmm.
or like how are they getting? Because that's key and stuff like this is where the content comes from and how many are involved, right? Like you don't want just Ray there telling his side of it, or just Ghost, or just Deck, or just RZA because they have problems with him. Like I want the full bag here, pause.
I think the full clan is involved. I think the full clan is involved in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking on the IMDb, and RZA's the only one listed as a writer.
Okay.
I think the whole clan is involved because I've seen interviews in the past when they all talked about, it coming out. IMDb is limited. It's like Wikipedia, so
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Um, what else you guys been watching? Anything outside of the ordinary?
Power is
Oh,
back
I did
on.
watch Power. Did you
That
catch
shit is
up?
trash. That shit is trash. That shit is ultimate garbage.
I felt like when I was watching the first episode, I was sitting there like, oh, we about to get into the Fast and the Furious shit. They got Africans coming over, cutting motherfuckers' hands off and shit, and
In the
like
middle
in
of
the first
Central
5 minutes. Like, come on, man! Like, where they do that at? Like, we don't got cameras in America.
in New
It's
York.
garbage. It's in
In
the
New
middle
York.
of Central Park, no less. And then it's garbage, man. At this point, the writing has gone off the rails. BMF just ended, and now we start with this. The writing already, first few episodes have gone completely off the rails, man. They I don't know what 50 got to do. 50 has built this universe. He's built these shows, and they have a good space to be raw and real. And the writing is the worst part. The writing is literally the worst part.
Have you watched? Have you watched the new season? Any of it, VP?
No,
Okay,
I
Ain't
I would.
just
nobody.
I kept saying I was gonna watch Power, but I had to binge it because I don't like Tyreek, and
I hate him. I hate
and
Tariq.
I just haven't been able to bring myself to watch it.
So, all right. So when I'm watching it, I feel like the shit, the storyline can be real. Like Tariq could get scooped up by somebody that now he got to make it right. He got to go make money. He got to get money to make it right. Like that's a realistic situation. It's just not to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? It's not to that extreme that the connect is coming over from another country and doing this extreme execution style shit just for a ring. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit is crazy. You could have had the same storyline and just played it complete like it was in the early days. Like the early days when Ghost and Tommy got fucked around and they had to start making money for the connect. It wasn't out here, you know what, let me make I gotta go make an example out of somebody in Central Park to show them that I'm about that life. Like it's just too extreme, and I feel like it could be good. When you talk about the writing, this is just a response to when you say the writing. I think the writing has good intent, but somebody is over there like sprinkle some crack on it, and making it too
At
much.
some point, I don't understand how these things leave the writer's room. At some point, like a dude buys a ring for 800K and then goes to Central Park with his wife. Well, I don't remember how much. I think it was like
It was a few
800K.
million.
Yeah, and then goes to Central Park with his fiance, loses his hand, and then it's like, well, where was this broad the entire time? You know what I mean? That everything was going on. So it's just like,
Right.
yo, when you're
That
in the
was your
writer's
character
room,
introduction.
yeah, when you're
But
in the writer's room, people in the writer's room at some point gotta ask themselves the tough questions, man. Who's gonna believe this shit?
part of it comes from EJ is that every show has a shelf life, right? And what I mean by that
Mhm.
is that
You're right.
when a creator of a series pitches it to a studio, they tell them, hey, we want to make the show, blah blah blah. They get approved for a pilot, and they ask them, how long would you need to tell this story? And they say, oh, we think we can tell the whole story in 4 seasons. They say bet, and then the shit takes off, and they start expanding it, and so they got to make it longer and longer and longer, and then you have this crazy shit that happens in the episodes that you're like, yo, this shit is unbelievable. You know what I mean? You're
Mm.
watching, Grey's Anatomy season 15, and there's literally an episode. I don't know what season it was in, but still the point. There's an episode where like a guy has a bomb inside of her, and they had to cut him open, and she had to stick her hand in him to hold the trigger or some shit so the bomb wouldn't explode. While they do the surgery on him, and it's kind of like, dude, like, are you fucking serious? You know what I mean? Or like Billions. You guys know I love fucking Billions. There's an episode where they're betting on like livestock futures for like chickens or whatever. And they find out that the numbers that they got, they were already doing some insider trading shit, and they find out the numbers they got were off. And so the dude like goes to some big ass chicken farm, and he steals a chicken that is like has bird flu, and it's gonna be put, it's like on a with the birds, it's gonna get put down, and he's gonna throw it in with a bunch of healthy birds to kill all of them to make the numbers come out worse so they can make money on it in the stock market and shit. And it's like, dude, like you really
Nah.
think a guy who runs a hedge fund is out there poisoning the chicken market in fucking Arkansas or some shit,
Isn't that what just happened like 3 months ago?
Yeah, I
Chicken
mean
shortage?
there was a chicken shop, but I'm just saying
I think
like
you
you
made
really
a
think
more realistic point with this
Right.
one.
Egg shortage because of the bird flu? Mm? Mm?
Conspiracy
Inflation?
from
All right.
billionaires?
Right.
No.
Listen, where can we make the money back that we sent over for the war? Eggs. Let's go get a bird with bird flu, poison all the birds, and then charge $7 a dozen for eggs.
Yeah,
I think
Niggas
that's
love brunch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Can't have brunch without eggs.
I think VP's point is right about the shelf life, and it's almost like writers just get tired. It's like
yeah.
they be in that room and just be like, "Yo, I'm tired of shit, dog. How can we make this
Well,
the most
And
unrealistic as
not just that,
possible?"
EJ, though, is that a lot of what happens too is that you start something off, right? And you know, you're talking about power, right? And so power starts off, people like, yo, this show is good, you know, da da da. And then somebody on the show who is a writer, they get an opportunity to create their own series on the same network, a different network, so they leave the writer's room. You know what I mean? Like Kevin Feige, you know, he started off as like a production assistant on something like I've heard somebody saying yesterday. I can't remember what the project was. It on the first X-Men movie, you know. So that was like a
Mhm.
Fox. He's like a production assistant, and then Disney brings him in to run Marvel, you know. And so you have those kind of things that happen. It's just, you know, it just happens in business, period, right? It don't matter what business you're in, you know. You got a nurse who does good in the emergency room, so you move her to the ICU, and then you're like, man, all these people coming to the emergency room are dying all of a sudden. You know, it could just be because old girl left. You know what I'm
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, when you put it into perspective, it's similar to rappers, right? You have a rapper that comes out and their first album will be absolute gas, you know, front to back. You like, yo, I didn't skip a track. 13 tracks, every single track was fire. Second album comes out, because they've been writing for 26 years. You know what I'm saying? In that 26 years, they went through their rhyme book and they found the 13, best tracks they could possibly make. And
saying?
now you got a quick turnaround, quick demand. Hey, listen, we need to try and recreate that. They come out and it's not so great. So I guess that could be, where we are with Power. What is it? Shit, they've spun off, right? They spun off from, and I'm wondering. So what I also wonder is, you know, are are the same writers writing everything, right? So like the Tommy Show
They're not.
was good. You know what I mean? I felt like the Tommy Show was the best one since the first Power.
Well, you
I
haven't
know
watched Raising Kanan.
I was gonna say, I know you think Kanan was. So I'm wondering if they have certain writers that are doing Power, Ghost or whatever it is. I wonder if they got one doing Force, and then I wonder if they have one doing Raising Kanan. Like, are those three different sets of writers? And when we're talking about a universe, we talked about at one point 50 finding a way to bring it all together and monetize it. Would be phenomenal. It would be like fucking Marvel and Disney with X-Men and Avengers, right? And he could do that. But if you got one set of writers that's absolutely killing it and doing it the right way, and then another set that got you, you know, Fast and Furious flying into space in a fucking Chevy Cutlass or some shit, like, you know, it
I
just,
think
I don't know if it's gonna add up.
Courtney Kemp is one of the main writers in the Power universe. At least I don't know about the other ones, but I've always thought her writing was over the top, and I don't know, but it's definitely showing. Snowfall is on his last season. Um, I haven't been a fan since Brother Singleton passed, and even prior to that, it was kind of trailing off for me. But like VP says, a lot of these shows have a shelf life, and that's why the great ones that forever remain etched in our brain are great for a reason. The Wires, the Oz's, the Sopranos, the Breaking Bads. While I didn't like it, I mean the Breaking
But
Bads,
I get it. Yeah.
yeah,
Sons of
all these shows.
Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy, one of my
Mm.
favorites. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I was vibing with your list, and then you just,
You can't Sons of Anarchy and like Breaking Bad. Like, cut
There's
the
no
shit.
it
way.
was it
No
was good
way.
to it was good to
No
a point.
way.
And you get extra brownie points for Sons because it wasn't on a major net. Like, it wasn't on HBO. This shit was on FX
FX.
before FX got Raw, and that shit was fire, fire,
FX.
fire.
Son,
FX actually always been raw when they had the shield on it.
Yeah,
When
but
they
not
started
raw,
playing the
raw.
shield.
Like, so think about Sons of Anarchy if it was on HBO.
Oh, it'd be
Like,
nasty.
all them
It'd be
all them things
nasty.
that Jax was slaying, like,
It'd be nasty.
it'd be
But the
completely
shield, the
different.
shield was like that too, though. And you got to remember, the writer of Sons of Anarchy wrote The Shield.
Mm.
You gotta go back and watch that show. That show was ahead of its time.
Yeah, VP is just a terrible person. He likes horrible stuff. If it ain't Game of Thrones, he don't like it. Or The Wire. He don't watch The Wire 27 times. Which, by the way, I had to tell him to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It took about 10 years of our friendship before he trusted me and watched The Wire. And
Right.
then ever since, now he watches it
The
at least
repeats,
once a
no
year.
less.
I love The Wire, man. I've been.
This guy quotes The Wire like people quote presidents, yo.
Yeah, I've been trying to like talk myself out of watching it again. Yeah, when Last of Us finished, because like when you go on your HBO, it'd be like shows you should watch or whatever, and I'm like, ooh.
That's how I am with The Sopranos.
Look at Minotti looking into my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that show, man. It's a great fucking show. And man, I'm gonna have to watch it, man. Lance just died too. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I mean that's a reason, right? What else? You been watching anything, VP?
Yeah, man. For me, I watched an oldie but a classic. I haven't seen it in forever, and then it popped up on I think it was on Hulu. I want to say the Count of Monte Cristo. I love that fucking movie, man.
Love that movie.
It popped up. I was like, oh, I'm watching this shit. So I think I watched it like twice this week. It's one of the best revenge films ever. You never seen that?
No.
Oh man,
Jim Caviezel. What is his name? Jim something.
You gotta watch it, Steve. If you like a good revenge story, this is it.
Oh, I like a good revenge story.
Great book, however, and the writer wrote this book in the 1700s, and he was black. Mm-hmm. He was a black writer. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but
this is an oldie. Yeah. Shit. Oh, the book is from 1845. All right, I'm not fucking with y'all. Keep going.
Well, which one you looking at? Because they made the movie twice. So there's a black and white one, and then there's the newer one that came out like in the 90s.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'm talking about the one from the 90s. I never seen the original one, but I heard the original one is actually better than the newer one. But I don't get down with a lot of black and white shit. So.
Oh, there was one in 02.
Oh, I thought it came out in the 90s. So yeah, that's the one is the newer one. The 02 one, yeah. I thought it was the 90s, but 02, yeah. It got your boy in it, Benny from the Bronx.
Benny Blanco?
Yeah, he's in it. But he's
Luis
not the star.
Guzman.
Luis Guzman. He's a supporting actor. But yeah, Count of Monte Cristo, man. Great fucking film. You're gonna love that shit.
It's a classic, man.
Classic.
That was Jim Caviezel's heyday. He did that movie, and then he did Frequency right around the same time. I'm cooking.
Another good
cooking. Yep, that's some good.
About time.
Early 2000s.
You owe us some cook from missing last week, motherfucker.
hey, listen, I'm getting my basement done for the cheapie.
Yo, check that shit out, Steve. The Count of Monte Cristo, yo. You're gonna be like, yo, like
it's a classic. It's in that same vein of that Leonardo DiCaprio film where he was it was the Three Musketeers joint. Remember that?
Romeo and Juliet.
Man, Iron Mask.
Iron Mask. It's in the same vein around the same time. Yep.
Yeah. Like it takes place during like the time of Napoleon.
Also, let me clarify for you. John Leguizamo is who actually played Benny from the Bronx. But I get where.
Yeah, you're right.
but old boy, that you're talking about. I know you're talking about because I Luis Guzman, and I'm glad. Like Luis Guzman, you know what? They need to highlight that guy. He's in so much shit.
He is
so much shit.
He's a Spanish Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
You know who else he's like? Bokeem Woodbine. That's another one that you saw all over the place, and nobody knew his name. You just knew him from the movies. But Luis Guzman. I fucks with that dude, man.
He started as a social worker and didn't start acting. Yeah, he started as a social worker and didn't start acting until like his late 30s. And
Damn.
that's why I've always appreciated him. But just like Samuel Jackson or Morgan Freeman, started their careers late, and they have been in everything for like 3 decades. You gotta
Mhm.
you gotta go back. This dude started in the early '80s,
Yeah, there's always room for him. There's always room
Yeah.
for him. They
and
they
then the
find ways. Yeah,
Wednesday little,
Wednesday.
yeah.
Hmm.
Shout out to Luis Guzman.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else you
So
watching? DP.
yeah, so I checked that out, and then I told you I've been watching some documentaries, man. They got this series on Netflix called Money Explained, and it's based. You know those Vox videos I post in the chat? They'd be like 5-7 minutes long about a topic or whatever.
I
They're
usually
basically
don't
made
watch
by
them.
the same, where they're made by the same people, but they're like explainer videos, but instead of being a 5 minute YouTube video, it's like a 25-minute thing on Netflix. They can go deeper in more depth. And it's like 6 episodes. The longest episode is like 27 minutes, and
Hmm.
they explain like this is why this thing is like this. Like they talk about like retirement, like like how we went from pensions to 401ks and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and they talk about like like some of the great scams in history and all like that kind of thing like that. And each one is narrated by a different like celebrity. I only knew two of the narrators. The rest of them I never heard of. But one was Tiffany Haddish, and then the other one was Edie
Tiffany
Falco.
Haddish.
Hmm.
She's slowly creeping back on your TVs.
Trying to get back
By,
in there.
by the
And then
time by the time Girls Trip 2 comes out, she's gonna be completely healed.
she gonna be
It's
right.
gonna Yep. She gonna be
Yeah.
whole again.
Fuck
And
them
then
kids.
the other thing I watched was I watched this documentary. Netflix got this documentary on Rome. It's like 3 seasons, but each season follows a different. Is going over like the life of a different emperor. And so
Mm.
season one follows Commodus, which is the
Mm-hmm.
guy who was like the villain in Gladiator. So
Mm-hmm.
it goes over like his whole like life story and
That's
stuff
pretty
like that.
late. That's pretty late to start with.
Yeah, well, they're just kind of bouncing. So like season
Mm-hmm.
one is Caligula, season two is Julius Caesar, and then
Mm.
season three is I mean I'm
Common.
sorry. Season one is Commodus, season two
Uh-huh.
is Julius Caesar, and then season three is Caligula. So I'm on the Julius Caesar season right now. So
But in order, Commodus would be later than
right, he's
Caesar.
after Caesar. Hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. That's pretty late to start with.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it
So
always
yeah, but it
fascinates me too.
yeah it's and what I like about it is like even though it's a documentary, it's one of those documentaries that's like it's like acted out. So they got like
Mm.
historians talking about like this is what was happening during that time, woo, woo. And then they have actors on the screen playing it out. And then unlike your normal documentary, they they stepped it up.
They give you some
Yes.
boobage. Give you some boobage. Mm. They have a documentary out there on Netflix as well that I began watching. I think it's on Queen. I don't know if it was Nzinga, but I can't remember which African queen it's on. But it's on an African warrior queen that was pretty solid as well. So I
Mhm.
like those. I like those.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool, man. And
I
they
didn't
were
see any
saying like how
boobage though
like when the whole Commodus thing happened, that kind of like started the downfall
of the
of
empire.
Rome.
Yeah,
Hmm. So
yeah.
I was like, man, that's
It's
wild.
scary. It's scary when you look at the downfall of that empire.
Yeah.
The Byzantine Empire and the Roman Empire, and just how it all came crashing down. Even
Hmm.
Alexander's empire. It's just crazy. It makes you wonder, like, is everything set to fall?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, part of it too, though, was with Commodus, it talks about how he was the first Roman emperor who was the son of an emperor. Like
mhm,
every other emperor before him was somebody who was like chosen. You know what I mean? So like
mhm,
even his father, Marcus Aurelius, they were saying he got picked when he was like 18, 19 years old to be the
mhm,
new emperor. And then the current emperor was essentially grooming him. So he was, he sat in strategy meetings. Then they gave him military commands, made him a governor of one of the provinces and shit like that. So once the emperor died, he was like ready to go from day. It's almost like, we
I've been watching. My guilt. You, you niggas just fucking. I could see people like, yo, what else could I be watching right now?
It's so
I feel like I'm
let
in
me
humanities class fucking with y'all right now.
to relate it to current times. It's almost kind of like, you know, back in the day, it used to be, oh, you would maybe you was a mayor and then you became a governor, maybe you became a senator, and then you say, I'm gonna run for president. You know what I mean? And then some guy
Mhm.
says, yo, I was hosting this reality show. I think I can be president. So,
He got it for
maybe
the
it could be the
cheapie.
fall, maybe it could be the fall of our empire, like EJ said.
He got it for the cheapie.
Hmm.
My contractor says, "You want it for the cheapie?"
Oh, you're a contractor.
Yes, you got to watch The Last of Us because that's a funny scene in that show. But yeah, Steve, what you been watching though?
I watch I watch sloppy shit, man. I don't like to be
Steve, did you
serious
watch the
on
thing I told you to watch?
which one was
The
that?
college admission scandal, the documentary?
No. I
Man, you
was gonna
gotta watch
watch it.
that shit,
I was
yo.
gonna watch it the other night, but I didn't wanna I didn't want to fall asleep on it.
Have you seen it, EJ?
No,
No,
Man,
no.
y'all gotta watch that shit, yo. The shit is wild, yo.
I
Wow.
watched.
Let me just say real quick before Steve goes. They got parts in there, like the dude who did the whole college admissions thing with Aunt Becky from Full House and shit. Like the dude gets caught up, and you can tell it's white people who got no hustle about him, because like these people have frauded the system, right? And then he calls, he's like, "Hey, EJ, this isn't literal, but like this kind of how it went down. Like, hey, EJ, you remember like last year when we did all those crimes? Well, I'm getting audited. Can we talk about it?" Like, yo, I'm like, and they just on the phone, like, yo, what happened? Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Okay, so I'm gonna tell them this and da 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 da. And the dude is like wired for sound, yo. So
but all in all, they didn't do no real time.
nah, not the people who pled guilty.
Yeah. Well,
And he hasn't
No.
gone to jail yet because they say he's still cooperating, meaning that the case isn't done. They're planning on going further.
Yeah, he's
nothing.
gonna cop out. He's gonna
So
cop
yeah, he's
out.
already pled guilty, but he's awaiting sentencing
Mm.
since like 2018.
They said they said that the Jared from
Subway.
Subway, they said his documentary is similar. It's on Hulu.
Hmm.
Did you watch it, VP?
I watched a little
Since
bit
you've
of it, but I
been
haven't
being a
finished it.
fucking
It
documentary
is
whore lately, you
the
should
the
watch it. I heard it's a tough watch too, though.
it is the little bit I saw, like, and how he gets caught is just, I don't know if it was arrogance, but he's at a middle school doing an event with like a news lady, and like the little kids are running around, and he's like, man, middle schoolers are hot, and the lady is like, the fuck.
Yo,
You know what I'm saying? And
crazy,
then
AJ.
she was like, from that
Crazy.
moment, she felt like something was off. And so she ends up recording she starts recording every interaction she has with him. Um, and then she takes it to the FBI, like, yo, I got him. He's on tape talking about boo boo. And it turns out she was recording him from a state that was a two-party consent state for recording.
You gotta be.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and
I
so
was
they
just
was like,
thinking that.
appreciate you for coming in, but you're under
Can't do
arrest.
nothing. Can't do nothing.
And
And,
they her ass, and then got her to cooperate as part of a plea deal for her. And then she basically just spent years recording this motherfucker, and that's how they got him.
and they told her some shit like, it's not a crime just to to be attracted to children. Like that's the wild ass shit that you got going
Mm-hmm.
on. And like Jared was a nasty motherfucker, yo.
Yeah,
He got to
Is
the
and his
point
homeboy too.
is a nasty
is
motherfucker, and his homeboy, and got to the point where he was telling her like, yo, you know, let's film your kids, like on some wild ass shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jared was a nasty motherfucker. To be like, yo, his man's was like, yo, this is trigger alert for anyone listening. His man was like, yo, I just finished pounding out a 7-year-old, and Jared was like, when can I go or some shit like that. Like it's a
Shit was
tough
wild.
watch. I heard it was a super tough watch. Bits and pieces that I saw from it. I was trying to watch it the other day, but I have to renew my Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus subscription to watch because I did not have that to watch, but I just watch bits and
That
pieces
is
on
that is
online.
wow. And
Man,
that
man's is
yeah.
nasty, bro.
Yeah.
That yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Like, yeah. So I don't know. So much so that obviously, you worked in the jail. Like, how is he still alive? He's in PC. Gotta be in PC.
Oh,
Gotta be.
he's got it since he's been in there. They talk about that in there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well, he
but
didn't get it because the ultimate get it is death. But
he got some of it.
yeah,
He got some. But now that the documentary's out, like, it'll be even. I think it'll be worse. And you know what? I'd rather somebody get beat up every day than die immediately. Anyway, when you do something like that, like, I want you to think about every time you get punched in the face. Like, eventually, he probably take his own life. But I feel like
And the shit that's wild about it, when you get to the end, you get to the end of the documentary, you start telling you, oh, this person got this much time, this person got that, or whatever. He got the least amount of time out of everybody.
yeah,
mm,
yeah, yep, and the most amount of
insane,
money.
Yeah.
Most
insane,
amount of money.
insane.
Um,
How does
but
Subway not? How did he even
oh,
get to Subway?
I heard Subway knew about it. Well, remember, he was doing the diet. He lost a shitload of weight,
Ah,
allegedly by just eating
Yeah.
Subway. And so they contracted with him. I think
He
he made
claimed,
something.
yeah,
I think he made something like 13 million over that span of time.
he basically claimed, like, oh, the sandwiches, low carbs, all that, I was eating Subway, I lost all this weight. And then, Subway heard about it and was like, yo, let's make this guy a spokesman, and then
Mhm.
boom.
that
You
that
see
is
pictures with him with the president of like President Bush and all these
that is
famous people and shit.
nasty. That is
Yeah,
nasty work. That is nasty. Like
yeah.
they need to call the NFL. Companies need to call the people that the NFL hire to do background checks because that's nasty, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, but I was watching. So I watch my sloppy shit. So the challenge is back. They got a challenge world. All USA or all worldwide some shit. I've been watching that, and then on Netflix, I started watching. I watched the first season of it, but now I'm watching the most recent season, which is season 4. I didn't know they had this so quick. It's called Too Hot to Handle. You
Mm,
guys seen that or heard of it?
I've seen that.
See,
I've seen that.
Netflix keeps pitching it to me, and I'm like, I'm not watching it. And every time I keep, it's like, you watch this, so you're probably gonna like this, and I keep like, I'm not doing it. Fuck you,
Too Hot,
algorithm.
too Too Hot to Handle is it's if you watch The Circle, that's where that's coming from. It's that kind of
Hmm.
algorithm. It's The Circle. It's Too Hot to Handle. It's Love.
Ain't
Love
that
is
Nick from
Blind.
98 Degrees show?
He does most of those. Yeah, he does most of those.
Mm.
He doesn't do Too Hot to Handle. Too Hot to Handle is Desiree. She's the same chick from The Circle, I believe. But basically the gist of it is they get 8 like baddies, like, on both sides of the spectrum, like 4 dudes, 4 chicks that, you could tell they're hot, um and but they're hot asses, like, they just love to fuck, 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 right? And they put them in a house, and you there's a prize fund. The prize fund is like 200 grand, and
Yo,
yeah, and it's a
no,
prize
you
fund.
said that shit so quick. I thought you said there's a prize. Fuck.
Oh, no, no, no. Well. There is technically, so there's a prize fund, and the prize fund is 200 grand. But there's like, if you kiss like, if a dude and a girl kiss,
Now I remember this one. Okay.
it's 3 grand off, right? If
Okay, yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
if they do the sexy time, it's 20 grand off. Like, and they lose money that way, and it comes off of the prize fund. And the goal is to have them, kind of build relationships, right? Connections and shit like that. And there is a prize fuck, like, it eventually gets to a point where you've done so great, they give you the suite. And they're like, what goes on in the suite doesn't have any consequences tonight to the prize fund. You know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers be getting it in. But it's interesting, yo. And I don't know. I don't know why I watched that shit, yo. I don't know why I watched this sloppy shit. Um, but it gets me, yo. Um, so that's what I've been watching, man. Other than that, nothing too much. I've been watching some basketball and shit. I've been watching the
Mm,
March Madness. Watching UConn
mm,
about to run through it.
UConn was spanking Gonzaga last night.
Yeah,
Had to killing them by 30.
yo, UConn hasn't won a game in the tournament by less than I think it's 18 points yet. Them boys is on fire. On fire. They got I forget the kid's name. They got two big dudes, but one of them I forget his name. Number 21, big black dude, big brolic black dude. Dude is nice, man. He's a good passer. He gets deep into the paint, you know what I mean, and makes good passes. Like they're gonna be a really tough team to beat. They're gonna be, especially since all of the like
The,
fire teams, top
all, the,
teams are
all the
gone.
heavy hitters are gone.
This
It's
is
anybody's game now.
yeah, this is almost like a track to say, listen, it's almost theirs to lose. Minus Texas, who I think has to play, or I think it's Tennessee rather. I think it's Tennessee. It's either Tennessee or
Mm.
Texas that has to play Miami today.
Texas.
Texas. That's going to be the toughest. Whoever wins that, I think, is the toughest matchup for UConn. Actually, that's the next matchup for UConn,
Yeah.
and I think that's the toughest one. Whoever wins that game. After that, they should be able to win out very, very easily and bring another championship to Connecticut. And keep it going. Gino and the girls lost yesterday, but
Yo,
the guys is about to pull it through.
it's insane, the upsets. Like it's just insane. The brackets are done.
Broke.
The
Yo,
brackets are done.
Vegas is over there like fucking making it rain with all the money they
Yeah,
winning off these busted ass brackets.
Yep.
bro, and even the bets, like I put in a 3 ticket bet one of these days, and I think it was, I can't remember which female powerhouse team lost, and it ruined everything. It's like Vegas is
Tennessee or
undefeated.
somebody.
Yeah, Vegas is just, it's nasty, man. And when you, and like I always say, when you look at the Tim Donahue's and all of that, with the refs and everything else, you just wonder, and even going back to the 1920s, when you look at what was his name, the Jewish mobster, I can't think of his name,
Rothstein.
Rothstein. When you look back at the 20s, it's just like, is any of this shit real? You know what I mean? Like, wow, it's nasty.
Yeah,
It's
it's
nasty.
it's crazy this year, man. Like, and it just could be one of those years, man. Like, some of these teams, a good bit of it might be arrogance, and
Mhm.
like there's the video of the team that lost that first number one seed that went down when they started the tournament.
Oh, not Alabama, Houston, not Houston,
No, it wasn't Houston.
Kansas.
No, not Kansas.
Fuck.
Whatever. Who I know your boy from Instagram made a video about it.
Oh,
Coach
Mr.
30.
Go 30.
Yeah, but with them, like they show like the coach the day before the game, they showed the practice or be after they practice, and he was like, "Listen, guys, I've been watching their film. These guys are gettable. We got to just stay. We got to be on our shit. And
You
they went
talking
out there
about
and beat them.
you talking about the coach that beat the number one.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
told them like, "Yo, these guys are gettable, man." You know what I mean? And so
Alabama.
no, it wasn't Alabama
Wasn't Alabama first, no.
because Alabama
Alabama,
just lost
the
in
last one to lose.
it was in the when the
Oh wait,
tournament first started
round 64.
in the round of
Mhm.
64.
Mhm.
But
Ruined the whole
uh,
shit for everyone.
yeah, but yeah, man, so some of those teams
Purdue.
probably go in. Yeah, Purdue. There you go. And so some of those schools probably go in thinking like, oh, we're number one seed. Like these motherfuckers can't see us. Woo woo woo, and then boom,
And the
and then
other part about it that's bad, to your point, is that you have these schools and they load up on regular season games, right? They can beat 100,000 teams because they got the budget to fly everywhere to do this and do that. And then when
mhm,
it comes to the tournament, it's a neutral ground, and you got some guys that are more hungry than you, and you haven't been good. You just had volume wins that have gotten you to a number one seed. Now, when you actually have to play some talent, you get exposed. And I never thought Purdue should be a number one seed. I actually picked them to lose a couple times, but of course, I didn't pick Bama to
Not in the first
lose.
round.
Yeah, I didn't pick Bama to lose and all these other ones, but yeah, man. I mean, that in a sense is the purest form of the NCAA that anybody can lose at any point in
Yeah.
time.
And
So,
man, shout out to the small schools, yo. Fucking San Diego State. You know, like
Florida Atlantic,
Florida Atlantic, Boca Raton in the house.
shit,
So,
UConn's a small school. In retrospect, UConn's a very small school.
mm,
They're in the Big East. They're in the Big East though. So like I think conference when you're looking at it, it's the conferences that make the parity, right? You have these number one, like to your point, EJ, you got these number ones similar to football, right? College football, which I don't watch, but I know, you got SEC teams
SEC.
that play much better teams than like AAU and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you had a
AU,
bracket,
AU's
what is it?
basketball.
I don't fucking know.
ACC, ACC.
ACC. I don't watch that shit because I'm black. College
Yeah, but the
football is
conferences are on. The conferences go to basketball too. The same
Same
conference.
thing, exactly,
yeah, same shit.
exactly.
Big
Except
East,
except the
SEC,
conferences,
AC.
except the conferences in football and basketball are jumbled up. Like some schools are in the Big East that are not in
Yeah,
basketball and football. But the Big East hasn't been the Big East historically in the last 10, 15 years. It hasn't been as great. But when I
yeah.
say small schools,
No,
I
not
mean
10. It's more like 15, 20 years.
yeah. When I say small
Watch your
schools,
mouth, boy.
I mean
He's
in
talking about for football. He's
comparison.
not talking about basketball.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm talking
no,
about basketball.
no, I'm talking about basketball. Basketball, the
Oh,
Big
okay,
East
my bad.
hasn't. The Big East hasn't been the last school that was pretty
They
good in
haven't
the Big
been
East
dominant,
was
but
Villanova. Villanova when they won with Jay
Nova
Wright.
won a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've been the only ones, but St. John's ain't been good.
That's that's still a
Georgetown
tough
ain't been
team
good.
though. Still
Uh,
tough.
yeah,
Syracuse.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Remember when the Big East Steve was in the '90s?
Oh
Nothing
well,
got past
yeah,
the Big East.
yeah.
It was like the
But
NBA of college basketball.
yeah, but now people are starting to go to other colleges. They're building super teams. Thanks, LeBron. How does man forget to how he fuck up college basketball and ain't even play college basketball?
It's true. It's true.
Nah,
Shout out
nah.
to
I'm
Rick.
just.
Shout out to Rick Pitino going to St. John's to bring it back.
Did he go to St. John's?
Yeah, they hired him.
Oh,
It's gonna be some coke sniffing, prostitute stripping.
yeah. This is this, but I think it's good for college basketball when anytime this happens. Similarly, it could be good for college football if they ever decide to go to more than a what is it 4-team playoff that they have right now.
They're
Like
expanding.
It's
because
coming.
there's so many teams out there that can have talent. There's so many kids, especially football's different than basketball. Like basketball, when you have good talent, most cases you can pick a lot of it. Football, even college football, is any given Saturday, any given Sunday, right?
Yeah,
um y- the game can be played a certain way. Matchups are a huge thing in football. I think they are in basketball, but not nearly as much as football. Like you can find one of these small time schools. Shit, look at UCF. Look at all the flames that people were getting for UCF for the last few years. Like UCF had this undefeated season, but nobody had any. Nobody gave them any credit for it. Like it's shit like that I feel like if you expand it out, you could see stuff like we're seeing in March Madness.
the problem for football is the injury factor, right? Because if you're a third year player or fourth year, fifth year senior, whatever, and you got prospects to be a first, second round draft pick, top three draft, top first 2 day draft pick, right? Let's just call it that way, like
Yeah,
first through fourth round kind of. And now they say, yo, not only do you got to play this whole grueling ass season, and then even if you avoid injury there, then you got to play in the conference championship because some conferences got championships, some don't. And then you got to go to this playoff to get to the championship where you might have to play, 2 or 3 more games. And then, you get injured in the second of 3 games. And then now your whole like future is on the chopping block, and instead of being a first round pick, you drop to a third round pick. And while you're still in the NFL, first or third round, we're talking about maybe 20-30 million bucks.
right.
You know what I mean? And so that's the part That's tough for football. Again, the NCAA doesn't give a shit about these guys, but these guys are thinking about that. And then so you're going to start having players who say, I'm not showing up. It's the same reason why even now, as big of a deal as we make about the combine, you have multiple big name players who say, I'm not going to the combine. And that's how we start seeing these guys like, yo, you saw that linebacker at the combine? Because the NFL needs to fill those slots. And so
But
they
here's
start fighting other guys because dudes are like, I'm going to go to my pro day at Alabama, not going to the combine, or I'm not doing that shit at all. You saw me
but
play for the year, so I'm not showing up to do the underwear Olympics.
that's true, but it really only applies to the top 5% of talent in those leagues, because you could be at Alabama and you could be eligible now for the draft. You could be the Heisman hopeful and sit out because the guy that's a sophomore that's behind you, i.e., Derrick Henry, after a Mark, whatever his name is, that went to New Orleans, Mark Ingram, you have those guys that now can take the stage. And in college football, that's why people hate Nick Saban, because he prepares and recruits for the people 5, 6 years later. You know what I'm saying? So I get that aspect. And when you open it up to the playoffs, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like one AA has it, Division 2 and 3 does it, and it that what you're talking about affects the top 5%. And we've seen stars at programs sit out, and people start to question, the championship and say, well, this person sat out. I mean, going back to '05, you had Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart going against the Vince Youngs. I mean, so it's still room to have it. I think it makes the parity of the game a little bit better. Um,
Mhm.
but you're right. You're right. It's a business decision.
And
But
don't get me wrong, I like the playoff. Like I think they should have it, right? I'm not
yeah.
against. I hated the fucking BCS, so don't think I want to go back to that. But I'm just saying
Mhm.
I could see guys saying, "Yo, this shit ain't for me," because I
Yeah,
could,
and
you know,
but they doing that with the bowl games regardless, though. And
yeah.
you would be a fool not to. You'd be a fool not to. You'd be a fool today's day and age if you're that top 5% of the NCAA guaranteed a $30 million signing bonus. You'd be a fool not to sit out.
Hmm.
You'd be a fool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they'd have to find some some way to. I don't know how you do it. I mean, they're going to be monetized anyway. Coming in coming years, now that you have the green light to pay these guys, but not nearly as much. It's not; these aren't NFL contracts and shit like that. But but I think there's you still have to have that that want to win. You know what I mean? Like you still got to have that in you to want to win. And we see guys do it all the time. We've seen people take injuries. The kid from Detroit, Williams, same thing, right? He got hurt in national championship game, missed almost all the whole first year. Still got picked early, right? You still see that the guy has talent. Um, Flip side, Jalen Williams, or I'm sorry, not Jalen Williams, Jalen Smith that the Cowboys took. He ended up dropping from like a first round to a third round to your point, VP. Um, but I mean, there's value in winning a college championship. And if you expand it beyond 4 games or one quick championship game, then there might be more value and there might be more pride in it from a star or any kid's fucking standpoint to try and win that, because now you've gone through some dudes and maybe you've played. It might be a 3 or 4, NFL, like the NFL is what, four rounds,
Yeah, well, yeah, technically, if you count the
right?
Super Bowl.
Essentially, it all is. But you can play about 2 to 3
Yeah,
games max for the most
If you
part.
get a buy. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
If you get to
so
buy, you play 3 games. If you go all the
Wild
way,
card, you got
wild card,
one.
you got to
You
play
go to the
four.
next one. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that's bad, right? They're already playing X amount of weeks anyway, right? So maybe you just push it back a little bit, and instead of having the full college football season, you pull out the last week or the last 2 weeks, and you start your playoffs early there. So these guys are still playing the same amount of games or whatever, right? Like I don't know, man. It's just
They're gonna do it because the reason, VP's point makes sense, and like I said, it really only applies to the top 5% of guys. But the only reason NCAA hasn't done it thus far is because they're just not smart. They just don't know how, oh, how can we make a playoffs and still honor the bowl games? Hey, asshole, just make the playoff games the bowl games the same way you do with other smaller conferences in Division 2, Division 1 AA. It's not hard. They just haven't worked out the TV money. That's all it is. They just
Hmm.
haven't figured out the TV money.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is, because conferences like the Big Ten, Big 12, they have their own TV contracts and things like that. That's really what the holdup is. That's really what it is.
And also, and Steve, kind of think about it from this standpoint, like that thing you posted in the chat about Victor Oladipo, right? And that's essentially what these college players, the ones who are looking at potentially being top draft picks, right? If you're a guy who's like on the bubble from trying to get called as an undrafted free agent or maybe like a fifth round pick guy, these playoffs are perfect for you, right? It's just another chance to showcase what you can do. But if you're a guy, and I don't know if you know this since you don't watch college ball, but on the college football side, the players can reach out to the NFL and they can get a rating. Hey, I'm thinking about going pro. Like I need a rating, and the NFL will tell them, based on what we see from you, we think you could be a mid first to a late second round pick, you know?
Hmm.
And those guys use that to make the decision on whether or not they want to go pro. So imagine if you're a
Absolutely.
guy who got a rating like that, and now they're saying, hey, we need you to play 3 more games. And, that shit, like I said, we're talking about potential millions of dollars. And so I can see a lot of the top talent, like the EJ saying, the top, 1-5% of players saying, I'm not doing that. And then if that happens, what's the value that we as fans are getting from the playoffs if the top talent are not playing because they're like, I can't risk the injury.
But we saw
Scary
that with
ass
the kid.
niggas.
We saw that with the kid from Alabama, Jamison Williams. He played,
Yeah.
got hurt.
Detroit. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So oh yeah, I didn't even realize. I was thinking running back when you were saying that, but yeah, I mean it is a risk, and really you only have the top 5% of guys that go through it. Because again, when you have the Alabamas, the Floridas, the Miamis, the next man is ready to be up, and it's football. It's football,
Yeah.
but
I mean, there's people that get paid much more than than we do to come up with this stuff. So maybe they'll come up with some creative way to make it work.
it's the TV. It's just the TVs. It's just the TV contracts. That's all it is. It's the TV contracts.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Um. What's up with So, all right. I don't know if I don't know which side I am on here, but I know what side I have to be on here because I know what side VP is going to be on. So, um, the LeBron hate train seems to be hitting the streets while he's not playing. It seems like when Bron is playing and he's out there night after night putting up his 36, 44, 12 and 8 games and shit like that, right? These dudes love to like ride the old meat pony. Um but the minute he stops or he gets hurt, people get extremely fickle. And you
See
start
blood
to
in the
see
water.
and you see people coming out of the woodwork, and maybe now because he's older and he's getting hurt and now you're not seeing him night after night, people are now thinking, all right, well, let's make sure he's closer to retirement. We need to make sure we're bringing up these comparisons and telling our stories and giving our side of it from a player standpoint and our opinions and stuff like that. But we've heard Mario Chalmers come out twice in the last week or two. Typical hater because he's played in Miami. Never had a good coach or anything, so I could see why he would hate. And
Crowder.
Jameson Crowder, right? Came out, and Jameson Crowder basically said LeBron is not as hard to defend as Jordan, right? Because he's more predictable. Chalmers said nobody was scared of LeBron. People were scared of Jordan. And then you still got a couple of D riders like Tristan Thompson that came out. I was like, yeah, how could you say that? People are still scared of him. Where do you think this is all stemming from? Let's
I
start
think
with VP.
uh, Tristan Thompson was 100% accurate though in his take, I believe.
I think
Mm,
that
he's
I
a
think a lot of this
Kardashian
shit.
slayer, so I
I,
usually will appreciate him for that.
I think a lot of this shit starts. like it's like almost like a place of hate, and
He's wrong
maybe
already.
these guys, like EJ said, they see blood in the water, right? And I don't mean it. I don't think me and EJ mean the same thing when we say blood in the water. I mean it from this standpoint, right? Where I mean, LeBron's 38, right? He's talked about wanting to play with Bronny. That's 2 years away. So he may have a couple more years left in the league if his body holds up. We'll see. He seems to be at the point where Kobe was in his career, where later in the career, body's not holding up, and you only can play so many games a season. Um, but once LeBron, it's already started. But once he actually walks away, I think that's when we're going to get the full on debate on who's the GOAT, right? And I know for some people it's not a debate at all, right? But it almost feels like some of these guys are trying to preemptively essentially say, there is no debate. LeBron's not the GOAT, and nobody feared him. People fear Jordan, and this, that, and the third, and that kind of, because I really don't understand where these things are coming from other than that, right? And for a guy like Crowder to say something as asinine as, oh, Jordan was way tougher to defend, like based on your experience, like, because I think when Jordan was playing, you were like in middle school. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, and like to EJ's point that he said in the chat, if it was a player who defended both and they said that, it would be more valid. But those guys don't exist in the league anymore. And the ones
Right.
who did exist, and who span both eras, you don't hear them saying those kind of things. Because if LeBron was so predictable to stop, why haven't they stopped him?
They did stop him 7 times, right?
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying
okay.
I'm saying that the guy goes out
It
there,
is
he
so
averages
easy.
30 points a year, or 28, 29 points a year. He averages this many rebounds, this many steals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If he's that predictable, that easy to stop,
So
why aren't they
easy.
stopping?
But
Well, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair, because when you talk, first of all, we're playing in a different
Why is
NBA.
that fair?
Let me tell you why. You're playing in a different NBA, right? That's one. When you talk about stopping someone, right? And you're talking about stopping someone from putting up 26. LeBron is 6'9", 260, right? Really, he's probably 6'10", 6'11", but he on paper 6'9", just like Jordan was
6'10",
just
6'11".
like Jordan was
He is not
6'6".
6'10", 6'11". Stop.
Yeah, he's like 6'8", 6'9".
Jordan
He's
is 6'10".
6'8".
I'm sorry, LeBron is 6'10".
He's 6'8". Continue.
Stand him next to Draymond, who's 6'9", and he's taller than Draymond.
Draymond is not 6'9". Draymond is 6'5". Stop.
Draymond is not 6'5". What are you talking about? That's
He's
guard
6'5".
size.
He's 6'5".
Draymond is guard size, just so they play him at 4.
Stop it. Stop. You guys
Draymond was
see how you
supposed
guys
to be.
you got. Oh my god, you
Draymond was
guys are
supposed to be a
caping for
tight
LeBron.
end. He's supposed to be a tight end at Michigan State and was not tough enough to play football. So he found his way to play.
When you talk
basketball.
about
He's 6'5".
stopping LeBron James, who's 6'8", 250, 260, 240 when he chisels up, and all this guy does is run to the fucking basket, then yeah, it's tough to stop him. It could be predictable. That doesn't mean he's not predictable just because you can't stop him, but you know what he's doing, right? I'm not saying that Crowder is right. I'm arguing your point of someone that says, hey, if someone's easy to stop, well, why don't you just stop them? Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about terrorism. You could say the same thing about guns. You could say the same thing about sexual assault.
Okay. We've had enough of this shit.
It's so easy.
So here's the thing. Got him. Here's the thing about LeBron. The reason why guys are coming at him is
don't talk about the dunk contest, EJ.
No, it has nothing. It has, even though we've killed him for that, it has nothing to do with his on-court ability. It's that he's a fucking nice guy. You never heard nobody talk about Michael Jeffrey Jordan in this manner because he will choke you. He will get into it. He's going to tussle with you. He didn't play that shit. Jordan did not play that shit. He did not have any friends on the court. This motherfucker Jordan was so grimy, yo. he didn't allow Isaiah Thomas to have one of the biggest milestones of a basketball career. Like that is a different level of savagery. LeBron, on the other hand, was on the phone trying to get the banana boat together. Nobody fears you when you're everybody's friend. And we've always said, LeBron is a great guy off the court, great father, philanthropist, all of these things. Jordan was a fucking asshole. Hey, we're gonna kill your father. I'm still gonna drop 50. Fuck y'all. I don't lose. You know what I mean? This guy was a savage. That's the reason nobody fears LeBron. That's the difference. It's always gonna be the difference.
I mean, that's a good point. It's a very good and very fair point. LeBron's a nice guy, so nobody, like nobody fears Ned Flanders. You know what I mean? Like everybody loves him. You know what I mean? So I can get that, but at the same time, though, if you're everybody's friend and everybody loves you because you're such a nice guy, like why are they coming at him? That's the part that don't, you
Because
see what I'm
they
saying?
can't. It's like a Bronx Tale. When I don't know if have you watched the Bronx Tale?
It was a while. I haven't seen it since I was a
You
kid.
gotta watch. You gotta watch it as an adult. But it's like that part where Sonny is saying, and Caligino asks Sonny, "Would you rather be loved or feared?" Sonny says, "I'd rather be feared." You know what I
Mm,
mean? If you give your guys too much, they take advantage. If you don't lay down the law, they disrespect you. That's the difference. And LeBron is probably one of the only guys in the competitive era that could have done that. Even Kobe, for the longest time, before we knew who he was, before we had the sound bites, everybody hated Kobe, even his own teammates. You know what I'm saying? But we were able to digest that because of the times. The difference with LeBron, he literally is that guy nobody fears because he doesn't want to be feared. He doesn't want to. If LeBron was a menacing guy, if LeBron had Charles Barkley's attitude, nobody would talk shit about him. They wouldn't. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. We talking about Michael Jordan, who choked out his own teammate and Steve Kerr. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference with LeBron. He let these guys think shit is sweet, and to his benefit, he sees the long game. He's made more money. He's more digestible in the media. His life is open. He's a family man. Jordan, come on. I mean that's really all it is because physically he's more domineering than Jordan. He has the potential to be he's one of the strongest athletes to ever live and play professional sports. So you can't say physically you don't fear the guy. It's just he's allowed people to think shit is sweet.
yeah. I mean, I hear you, and I don't think that you're necessarily wrong, but like part of me wonders if it's deeper than that, right? And the reason why I say that is that at the end of the day, all these guys have they all have like a similar, life story,
Mm-hmm.
similar goals.
Mm-hmm.
They all, a lot of them, some of them come from broken homes. They look to the league as a way to get out. They wanted to change their family tree, get rich, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And LeBron has done all of that, but by a factor of, you know, who knows, compared to these other guys,
Mm-hmm.
where other dudes are like, yo, I'm getting a max contract, and LeBron's already a billionaire, because of the on the court and off the court, the business savvy and shit like that. You know what I mean? These guys are in the media. I'm not saying these
That,
guys
that's
specifically who we're
precisely my,
talking
that's
about.
precisely my point. LeBron has made it a point not to be a villain. He's made it a point to say he's going to protect the brand rather than. I mean, LeBron coming from a single family home. You got guys like a John Morant that have two-parent households. LeBron literally went through it where he was broke, hungry, literally carried his city, Brian Windhorst, and four of his friends on his back. Literally. You know what I'm saying? So, you
I
talking
see
about
what you did there.
you're talking about somebody that by all standards could beat a Ron Artest. LeBron
Hmm.
could there's no difference between LeBron and Ron. Shit, Ron Artest had his father. Ron Artest had his father in his life, making him shoot jumpers in the projects every day. LeBron had to get it on his own. So, by
Hmm.
everything that we know in that makeup, he could very well be that aggressive villain dude. But there's just something about him that said, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna give everybody an olive branch, and that's who he is. That's why dudes don't fear him. He has so much respect. LeBron is like a dude that's still a fan. He plays other guys and is a fan. Jordan hated everybody he played against, and it was infectious. So of course you fear him because you know the dude's coming to take your soul. LeBron, you're thinking, we're gonna play in Miami. He's gonna whoop our ass, but we're gonna go to Carbones together because that's my man. You know, that's the difference.
No, and I got you, and I don't think I'm necessarily disagreeing with you, but like I almost feel like, you know, like professionally, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, like, or let me use Giannis as an example, right? I saw an interview with Giannis and they asked him, like, yo, how come you don't work out? Like a lot of these stars work out together in the offseason stuff. And he was like, I don't want them to know what I can do. I don't want them to know how to defend me and stuff like that, you know, so I don't work out with them in the offseason, yada, yada, yada. But also at the same time, Giannis is like, yo, LeBron, I love you, you know, you my man, you know, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
my point.
You know what I mean? But
that's my point.
So the point I'm making is that, like, to your point, like, oh, you know, oh, he's gonna kill us on the court, and then afterwards gonna go to prime 112, you know. But it seems like this is going a step further, right? Because it's one thing to be like, you know, in the post game, you know, what happened tonight? Oh man, LeBron, he's a beast, you know, like this guy, I hate playing him, you know, oh my goodness. And then, you know, later on, you see a pic of Draymond and LeBron at the club or some shit like that. You know, it's like, wait, I thought he hated him. Like, I mean, they're he hates them, you know, while they're inside the arena. You know what I mean? Cool, no problem. But this shit seems to be happening. Not seems to. This shit is essentially happening outside of the arena, and I don't understand it because, like, you hear people talk about Jordan, right? And again, Jordan hated everybody. Everybody hated Jordan, et cetera, et cetera. But people say, man, this guy, he was so good, you know, but he did this, he did that. Ooh, I hated playing against him, yada, yada, yada. But you don't, it seems like the disrespect is almost coming from a different place. That's all I'm saying. I get your point, but it almost seems personal to me, you know?
Well, it's always gonna seem that way because in retrospect, in reality, we can know that Mario Chalmers is talking complete madness. But again, again, I don't know why he always does this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
His audio straight before he joins the podcast.
I don't understand. But Mario Chalmers was his teammate, and just the level of disrespect Mario Chalmers displayed for LeBron, I think just speaks to the nice guy effect. You know, Jordan.
Well, also, it's like I told Steve, though, you know, and especially coming from Mario Chalmers, it feels a little personal to me. And the reason why I say that is, as a Heat fan, watching them play together those years, you know, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh to some degree used to like
little brother Chalmers all the time.
You know, and then the news came out when LeBron went to Pat Riley and was like, yo, we need to trade Mario Chalmers and bring in, I forget who it was. Pat told him, yo, let me handle the running and team shit. You handle the dribbling, you know.
But it is personal. It is.
Y'all gotta stop dick eating. Fuck all that. He's a nice guy off the court. You know why niggas fear Jordan? Because he won. Because the nigga went 6-0. Because in the 90s, niggas wasn't getting rings. Period. End of day. End of story. You got the Knicks, no rings. You got Charles Barkley, no ring. Reggie Miller, no ring. Patrick Ewing, no ring. You know who got rings with LeBron? Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan. All them niggas got rings. Get the fuck out of here. Kevin Durant. No. Niggas ain't scared of LeBron because he ain't stopping nobody from doing what they want to do. That's why they not scared of LeBron.
He stopped Tim Duncan from getting a ring.
Sorry. He stopped Tim Duncan from getting his 6th ring, nigga, his 5th ring. Okay. All right. That's different. When Jordan played, these are stars that didn't get no ring. These niggas knew they wasn't getting a ring.
I got you.
These is niggas that people questioning like, oh, would you? They got to answer the question, would you change your whole career if you could have gotten a ring? Ain't nobody answering that question with LeBron. Nobody. Boy. Give me one star. Give me one superstar today that is that you could say LeBron stopped from getting a ring.
Boy, you came in hot, didn't you?
Just give me one. That LeBron stopped.
Russell Westbrook, James Harden.
No. No, no.
Get your man.
Steph
Get your
Curry
man,
stopped
EJ.
those guys. Steph
Get
Curry
that
stopped
man.
those guys. How did LeBron stop Harden?
VP has the point.
Didn't Harden
No,
and
no,
Russell
no.
Westbrook play
No,
LeBron
no,
in
no.
the finals on
VP
Oklahoma City Thunder?
So okay, let me tell you this: has LeBron been the?
You see how he moved on from that?
No. Has
I was,
LeBron
Get your
been?
man, dog.
I was with you, Steve, until he asked that question.
What's the
But
question?
I
I'll
would
answer
say
it. I'll answer it.
he's saying that LeBron beat Harden and Westbrook in the finals. However, I
He beat
would
Harden when he was a 6-man. Stop. Harden
and
was averaging 14 points. He wasn't a 30-point Harden.
Westbrook was the starter.
Stop.
And so was KD.
I would argue that KD stopped LeBron because we know from what we know. I mean, KD stopped those guys because we know
That LeBron stopped. Oh, okay.
that KD was colluding with fucking other people his entire time at OKC.
Stop. He wasn't colluding. Cut your shit. Y'all motherfuckers. He was colluding. No, nigga. He hung up the phone and said, "I want to go play for a team." That's not colluding.
He was
That's
texting.
not.
He was texting.
But he wasn't
Draymond
throwing the
Green in
game
parking
though.
lot.
But he wasn't throwing the game. It's not like he was going out there like, "Oh, I want to play for them. Let me go lose on purpose." Like, that's colluding.
He talking about he want to play the motherfucker and texting the dude he's in a series with, talking about he want to play on the same team as him. I just don't understand that either.
Yo, my nigga, I'm playing with some niggas over here that can't get it done. They can't get it done. So if we can't find a way to beat y'all, talk to your mans in them and let me know if we could play together next season. See if we can make this happen. That's how that sounds like it went. Not like, yo, I'm gonna go out there next game. I'm gonna go out there next game and lose.
Shit, yo. They already amplified.
You know why? You know why? Because y'all gotta hear it. Y'all gotta hear. Y'all over here Dickie and LeBron James. Oh, he's a nice guy. But I do agree with you, EJ. And let me clarify something. It's Cologelo, not Canonana. Cologelo.
I said Cologelo. It's Cologelo.
Cologelo.
No,
extra L. Stop it. Stop it. And you're right. Sonny said it. I'd rather be feared than loved because the fear lasts longer. 100%.
Turn your goddamn mic down. Stretch Armstrong.
So
Funk Flex.
This is the shit that I talk about though when I talk
about because you got VP over here acting like he got some, like he's making some sense. Niggas what, this nigga's what, 3-7? 3-7 in the finals? That's why niggas ain't scared of him. That's why they not scared of him.
He's 4
I'm sorry.
In the finals, not 3.
I'm sorry.
I don't need these anymore.
Not 3-7.
No, we don't count the bubble. That shit don't count.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Bubble season. Matter of fact, look at that. Look at his mental toughness. Man said, "Oh, if I ever get traded to Orlando, I'm gonna retire because it was so hard in the bubble." Get the fuck out of here. That's why niggas ain't scared of him. You would never hear Jordan say that shit. Never. Go ahead.
Anyway, like I was saying, this is the problem when you talk about LeBron is that people like Steve, they essentially have a narrative that they've built in, and they can't see anything past it. So when Steve says, "Who did LeBron stop from getting a ring?" I say, "Stop KD, Russell Westbrook, or James Harden." Oh, well, James Harden was a 6-man, and Russell Westbrook, I mean, he wasn't a star back then. And Kevin Durant only.
No. You moved the goalpost. You're talking about one season. I'm talking about a man that spanned a whole decade and say, "Yo, guess what? Y'all niggas not eating. Y'all not eating at my table."
Okay. Not a whole.
Okay. No problem.
Most of a decade.
Okay, we don't got to talk about. We don't got to talk about one team.
And listen, in LeBron's,
let me ask you a question.
I got you. In LeBron's, let me tell you something. In LeBron's era, his team is not the most dominant team.
Okay, no. let me respond to that. You say who did LeBron stop from winning a championship, right? And the answer to that question is every player that you consider to be a star in the Eastern Conference from 2010 to 2016
was on his team. They were on his team. That's why.
That is the difference, VP. I can't. You can't deny it. Like he did that, but he had to go get Chris Bosh. He ain't stop Wade. Like that. That's the biggest difference. Yeah, that's the biggest difference.
Point proven.
That's the biggest difference when you look at Jordan's run coming into the league. You know, having to face Magic, Isaiah, then Larry Bird, then the Knicks, then the Cavs, then the Pistons, then the Supersonics. The guy beat that, and the league had more parity. We can, we make this argument all the time that LeBron messed up the parity of the league. There used to be a point in time, right, where you can have one of the worst teams in the NBA. Maybe the Cavaliers might be the worst team in the NBA. You still watch the game because it's competitive. Now it's so the disparity is so vast. Well, over LeBron's span of time, I think it's getting better now, but over that span of time, it was just unfair. Teams were winning 50 games so easily because there was no parity in the rosters. But again, Steve, I think you're wrong. I think you're right in that sense. I don't think it's that because people feared Jordan, but it was because he was an enigma. He wasn't your friend. You didn't know he was a nice guy. People didn't even know if this guy ate food at one point. Like they just didn't know who he was. LeBron, they know he's gonna have these handshakes. They know he's a great father. They know all these things. We didn't even know Jordan had kids for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just a different savage, and I think that's LeBron's problem because there's
But
no way you're gonna hear. Look at how much Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan should love one another, but they hate each other.
again, so this kind of goes back to what I was just saying, and then kind of what I was saying yesterday in the chat about the PR, right? Jordan has gotten to a point to where he's damn near deified, in when you talk about him in sports and in general, and then basketball, specifically. And like you listen to what each like, man, people didn't know if he had kids. People probably didn't know if he ate. Guy's a machine. You know what I mean? Like,
Does he
like,
bleed? Does he put
right?
his pants on one leg at a time?
Exactly. Like I almost feel like you got to be like the Rocky clip. Like he's a man. You look at him. You cut. It's like, come on, dude. Like he's just a fucking guy.
But
You know what I
that but
mean?
that's the difference though, because again, he got fouled. He played in the era where you watch Rick Mahorn, the Pistons, beat him down. He had the flu. He didn't miss. It was like, does this guy miss? Okay, whatever it was. LeBron ain't do that shit. LeBron sitting out because of what? I mean, the coach on the floor,
You
all
got
this
a
shit.
hangnail.
I wasn't gonna say it, but again, this is the difference. Michael Jordan was cutthroat. LeBron is for everybody, and that's why guys don't fear him. He's
And
everybody's favorite guy. He's Ned Flanders. To your
I
point, he's
haven't
Ned
disagreed
Flanders.
with you. I haven't disagreed with you on that.
He's Ned
I've
Flanders,
just said
and Jordan
I
is a
think
boo.
I haven't disagreed with you on LeBron being everybody's friend. All I've said is I think that some of these things go a little bit deeper than that. But at the same time, it almost seems like let me not say we. It almost seems like you guys, especially Steve, is
Are you
saying
attacking me?
it almost seems like you guys, especially Steve, is essentially saying Jordan is so great, but the greatness can't stand on its own. So we have to push down LeBron's greatness in order to elevate Jordan's. And I don't, like that argument don't make sense to me. Like the greatness should just stand on its own. It shouldn't have to be all of these like bullshit stats that you see posted on Instagram. Like, oh, Jordan is 0-3, when it's less than 35 degrees in Milwaukee, and LeBron is only 1-2. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, yo?
They do the same bullshit for LeBron. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just making. I get it. They make up stats for everybody. I'm just saying, but like, it seems like when it's the Jordan LeBron comparisons, people like OD on that shit, and it's like, yo, dude, oh man, LeBron, he got all those assists. He's a bitch. Look at Jordan assist number. He was a killer. So but that means LeBron sucks because he was willing to pass the ball.
Nah,
he plays a team,
I think
he plays a team sport and he passed the ball. What a fucking bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, what the fuck are we talking about, dog?
what I think it comes down to is I think what happens is LeBron fans that get into these debates, you and others, dismiss the reality behind what people are saying, which is the super teams make a huge difference. You
No doubt.
should have a million assists if you have a D Wade on your team, or Kyrie on your team, or Bosh on your team, or Kevin Love. You have absolute knockdown killer shooters and players on your team that should be able to score. So you should be able to assist. Now, don't get me wrong. The level of assist that he has is crazy. Points, same thing, right? Steals, blocks, all that shit. Same shit. All that shit is at an excessive amount of time. People also dismiss, or level, sorry. People also dismiss this man been playing 20 years. 20 years. Which someone like you who's like, how can we fault him for that? But then your argument is Dan Marino and his records, blah 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 blah, because you only played 11 seasons, right? So we can't have it both ways in one spot and not the other, right? Then they're like, oh well, he's so durable. He's played 20 seasons. No one's done it so long, right? But in so many of those seasons, he might have played 60 games, right? I think there was one season or two seasons. I saw a stat recently where Jordan didn't play 82 games. Like they're cut from a different cloth, man. And guys like I'm trying to remember who it is. There's a current player today. I'm forgetting who it is. I don't know if it was Shea Alexander or another guy, but I'm mad that it's slipping my mind. Either way, it's a superstar. That basically was like, yo, I'm gonna play every game I can. If I'm not injured, I'm gonna play. I'm not sitting out because fans come out to see me. You know, fans are out here to watch me, whether it's a home game or a road game. I forget who it was that recently said that, but that's the reality of it. Like if you're sitting out games, like this dude breaks the record and then sits out like a week and a half. No major injury. Fuck out of here, man. That's diva shit. You know who would never do that? Go ahead, say it.
Tim
Say
Duncan.
it. Magic Johnson. Well, you know.
So let me say this. Also, Steve, you talked too long because you made me miss. I had a joke that was setting up, and you spoiled it. So I was gonna say, new basement, same EJ. Looking at a chair. And then he came back, so lost it. But anyway, I get what you're saying, yo. You know what I mean? I just
fresh
think
paint
that
look good though.
yeah, it does. It does.
Mm-hmm.
I like that color.
Must have
Thank
had
you.
some Mexicans come through.
Uh,
They put
I
pride in
don't
the
know
shit
their
they did.
nationality, sir. I just know they
Yeah.
gave it to me for the cheapie.
Whoever did it, they put some pride in it. And you know.
Yeah, they got to repaint some spots. I'm sitting here looking around like,
Oh.
all right, nigga.
Well, if it's the ceiling, you know.
Nah, that's a couple spots over there. Nah, I ain't
Yeah.
paint the ceiling. The ceiling.
I mean, I've seen that wall before, and I'm looking at it now, and it looks damn good. So I think
Yeah.
they did. I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, just saying they gotta go over some things. I'm sitting
got
next to
you.
a big ass 24-foot 24-inch door here. Yeah, it's rough down here, but what can I say?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I get all your points. I'm just saying, like, I think, like, people just go overboard with the LeBron shit, and
Dog, I'm telling you, if he just smacked the nigga, he'd have been all right. If he just smacked the teammate, he should have smacked the shit out of Mario Chalmers. He should smack the shit out of him. Like, I don't even understand how this dude, Mario Chalmers, was a guy that went to Kansas, or I believe it was Kansas. He was a great point guard to some degree at college standpoint, but he came to the league and he wasn't that guy, and the audacity that you have to have been a piece on that roster that didn't need you. They didn't need you. They could have gotten anybody. Like, I think Tristan Thompson was 100% correct.
I agree.
He was 100% correct.
You won two
Tristan Thompson just
on
trying to get back on the Lakers. He a bum.
Nah, but you won 2 championships on this dude's back, and then you shouldn't like you know
shitting on him for what?
This is me, right? Like when I watched that show Speak with Joy Taylor, when you hear Shady, no, that they used to be Speak for Yourself, now it's just called Speak. When you hear Shady talk about like
anything,
Tom Brady.
Anything, Tom Brady, anybody, anything.
He's a fucking hater.
He's a hater.
Right? No, he is a hater. But when you see Shady talk about Tom Brady, it's different. Why? He won a ring with Tom Brady.
Yeah, different. He was, and he didn't even play. Tom Brady got him a ring, brought him a ring. Nah, you're right. I agree with that. Mario Chalmers, but I don't know that I see it 100% that way, because he's just answering questions. Like he's being interviewed, he's on podcasts or whatever. He's answering questions versus it's not like he's just popping up on his social media on Twitter and dropping, yo, Bron is a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's scared of him. Like that's not the type of thing. Like Gilbert Arenas is that type of guy. Like Gilbert
Yeah,
Arenas will come out
hater,
and
a
just
nut.
drop stuff out there. At least, like, don't get me wrong. I do feel like Chalmers owes some positive media to LeBron for winning him a ring because he definitely wouldn't have won that shit without him.
Some,
But no, some. I mean, some could be 80 or 90%. But I mean, it's okay
more
if that
more than some. Some is a little bit.
you ain't been married for a while. When she say, "Let me get some," and she drink all your shit, that's some.
Mm,
All
I
you got
never
left
had
is the ice.
I never had that happen to me when I was married. hence,
Selfish ass nigga.
hence why we're here. But carry on.
No, but yeah, I like I don't think he should be shitting on him at all. I don't think he should be. But it's good content. It's good content. And it gives people stuff to talk about. And Chalmers, and it makes it even more valuable because he was on the team with him, right? If Chalmers was making that same, think about it. You guys dismissed the shit out of what's his name? The most recent one from the Suns, Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder.
Dismissed him. One, because he didn't play against them, but two, because whatever. If Jay Crowder made that same statement as Chalmers, you'd be like, whatever. You know what I'm
But
saying?
Jay Crowder, who played in Boston, didn't make that statement on Jason Tatum, or did he win any championships? Jay
Who,
Crowder?
Tatum?
No, Jay Crowder.
No.
All right, so I mean, again, he has no loyalty. Like he's a country with no, what do they call that shit?
Well, that's why I say it's easy to dismiss him. I'm just saying that Chalmers makes good content and people take it more, they don't take it with a grain of salt. They actually think there's some value to it because they played alongside him.
Yeah, and it's just nasty though, man. I mean, you see Scottie Pippen and Jordan and how they feel about each other. I just think Jordan's an asshole, and
Well, Pippen hates
Chalmers.
Jordan now. He's got to. His ex-wife is smashing his son. Bruh.
Here's the point. And
I would
she's
have
and,
Yeah,
and
that's just
she's you know
she
what,
nasty.
VP likes
Nasty.
to be on a feminist side so much, but it's women like her. It's women like her
nah.
that make
I've never got
it.
jiggy with that. Like,
It-
and I also I've I also kind of fault Jordan for this shit, right? Because like I get it, your kid's an adult, but you got to be like, hey, dog, like there's certain shit we
you
can't do.
stepping over
Yeah,
the line.
That is crossing a line, yo. You know what I mean?
But it's women like her that make it hard for women everywhere. You smash Jordan's son, then
That's
you
a fine though.
then you get with, well, you got with Future, and then you smash Jordan's son, and then you come out with the rhetoric. Oh, when I was married, I had sex 4 times a day, and then dude is
That's
sitting right
ass.
there. And then they're like, oh, well, is that indicative on him? No, he wears a size 15 shoe. He's fine. Like she's nasty, man. She's nasty.
She
Like
fine though.
she's all around nasty. No, she's just nasty.
She
That
fine though.
those No, she's nasty.
She nasty. She hung out with the Kardashians for a while. Like
She's That whole tribe is nasty. That whole clan is nasty. It's nasty.
Like that. Like there's just certain shit. Like
That means
Delonte West smashing LeBron's mom. Like that should
that
have been like a
means
no-go.
that's the
that
difference,
means
right? That's why people scared of Jordan and not LeBron. Because your teammates is smashing your mom, and my son is smashing my teammate's wife. We not the same, dog. We not the same, dog. Look at Bart. He mad.
but can we talk how nasty she is? That means that
She's
in
not nasty. She's a
96,
beautiful young
that
woman.
means in
Wow.
96, when they were winning championships, and she was, babe, I'm so happy for you guys. Michael, you played so well. And look
That's
at
like
your
some Jada Pinkett
son.
shit.
Look at your son. He's getting so big. Come to the
Marcus is like
house. We're gonna
Marcus
have
is
the
32
cookout.
now.
He's how old now, Steve?
He's 32 now, so that would have made him
in 96. About 4 or 5, something like that. Bruh, that's some nasty work. That's some nasty work.
I'm sure she wasn't thinking about it when Marcus was 6 years old.
I'm not saying she was thinking about, but again, okay, maybe she was. Maybe she was Jared.
You
Hmm?
crazy? Now
But
you
But
going too far.
even if she wasn't though, like
now you've
again,
seen him
I
as a
don't know.
5 or 6 year old.
Right, I don't know what the dynamic was
But he's
when they were,
32.
but still, like this is like it's almost like this is she's almost like his auntie at this point. You
She's
know what I
almost
mean?
grandmother.
Hold
No, I
on.
don't. I'm
Wait
not.
a
I don't
minute.
mean the
Wait a minute.
age. I'm talking about like you know how like you got
Hold
that
on.
friend of the family that's super. Y'all not related, but that's
Yeah.
like your auntie.
She
You know what I
showed him.
mean?
She
Oh,
showed
okay.
him to the bathroom at their house. He
Right.
came
Is
over, auntie, where's the bathroom? That's how old the difference
well,
is.
she alleges that she never hung out with them when
Yeah,
she was
she's full
married
of
to
shit,
Scottie Pippen.
and
She
she's
never
full of
was
shit,
like around their family and
and
stuff.
she's full of shit.
I don't believe
It's
that.
literally impossible. She's full of shit. It's literally
She
impossible.
alleges. I mean,
Yeah,
listen,
and she's a
I got to take
nasty
her
woman.
word for it.
She's
You
a
see her
nasty woman.
lips? You think lies come out of those lips?
Yeah, that and Botox. She's a
Nah,
nasty woman. It's nasty.
man.
She's worse than Jada.
But he's
Nas,
32 years old.
No, I
He's
don't have a
definitely
problem with the age, Steve. It's just the
that
dynamic
was his
of
auntie.
right. That's my problem with it.
It's nasty. It's
Listen,
nasty. I know his mama mad as shit. I bet you that. But guess what? Jordan don't play that shit, so she ain't saying nothing.
I didn't have an auntie that looked like that. But if I did have an auntie that looked like that, I don't know. I don't know. At
All
14,
right, I'm
when your
getting off.
friends start coming
I
around,
gotta go. I'm getting off.
like, you know,
And we don't mean biological auntie, obviously, but
you're right. Not
bruh,
all the
this is
time.
just that she's nasty, man. It's nasty work. It's nasty work. And these celebrities, you know what? I don't understand these guys that got money, these celebrities that bounce from girl to girl. You got the dude, Damson, whatever his name is,
Damson
that plays
Idris, his name.
Idris, messing with Lori Harvey. And she's pretty, she ain't all that, but the only reason they really messing with her because that's Steve Harvey's daughter. But it's like, why are these dudes sharing the same people? Like
I
y'all
think
got
they
millions
allegedly
of
broke up.
dollars. Yeah, they
Yeah, they
did, but
just
y'all got millions of dollars. Why are you? I think Hollywood plants relationships together. They have to. They have to. There's no way that
I
these
don't think
people
it's
can do
that.
this.
I think it's just like I said this before on the pod. I think it's proximity, right? So you know, like the places that you go, the
No,
places that
fucking
you
mute
go,
this
these
guy.
people are.
He's around millions. He's around hundreds of other bitches. This
No, that's
proximity
not.
is a
That's
lot
not.
of cooch.
No, that's not what I'm
hundreds
talking
of
about.
young ladies.
That's not what I'm talking about. What
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying is that right. If you are a person, if you're like, he
I
may
know
go
what you're
somewhere.
saying. We know what you're saying. That's applicable to the black guy that's one in every 5,000 at the University of Texas, not in LA, where there's hundreds of fine women, there's tons of actresses, there's all types of people. You're
But
messing with the one famous one that everybody's messed with. It
But
makes no sense.
if you don't mess with a famous one, you could turn out like Tiger Woods, where now she wants 30 million because you said get out my house.
Mute
Like
this
I'm
guy.
locked. I'm
Mute him.
changing the
Mute him.
locks.
Mute him. It's not the same. It's not the same. Tiger Woods.
Right. I mean,
No.
I think some of those folks they start from a standpoint of they want somebody who's on their level, especially financially, right? They're probably looking to date a chick that when they go to a party, the chick's like, oh my God, Chris Rock is here. Can I take a picture with you? You know what I mean? Because the people who they're friends with don't want to be around that kind of shit. You know
They're
what I mean?
with
These
her
people.
for her status. That's the
No,
only
no.
reason
What I'm saying
anyone's
is
ever
that
known her.
what I'm saying is
Because her
that like
daddy.
when they walk in the room, they want like the show Succession, right? There's an episode on there where they throw a birthday party for Logan, and Kendall, his oldest son, is dating this chick that he found like you know on the street or wherever he got. She's like a regular chick. She's not rich. He's just some chick that she met, right? And when she's meeting everybody, she's like, "Oh my god!" Like she's like so starstruck with meeting the family because it's like here's this family of billionaires, the people I've seen on TV, and you know yada yada yada, all this kind of shit. And then when the dad is away from them, he tells the daughter, he's like, "You see the chick that Kendall brought?" And she's like, "Yeah, what about her?" He's like, "This chick don't got a fucking thought of anything in her head. Like she's an airhead, blah blah blah." You know what I mean? So like a guy like Idris Elba is probably starting from that standpoint of he wants
Not
somebody who's
Idris
on his
Elba.
level
Damn,
Jameson
when
Idris.
he,
Andrews.
huh?
Not Idris
Jameson
Elba. You said
Andrews.
Idris Elba.
Oh, I thought you said somebody else. My bad. Well, whoever the fuck it is, they're trying to date people on the same level as them to
Yeah,
begin
I
with.
get it. I get it. But
And
there are
yeah,
other
sometimes these
stars
people
out
bounce
there.
around.
Jamie Foxx has a beautiful daughter. There are other stars out here that you know what I mean. I just don't understand how they keep getting into it with the same
Maybe
woman. I
Jamie
just don't
Foxx's daughter's in a
understand.
relationship already.
Yeah, well, there are other. I come from an era of people where you just don't knowingly smash the same person as the other guy and the other guy and the other guy. You just don't
Yeah,
do
but
it
but times always do change, my friend.
And they
Like
for the
and
people
they
worse.
don't people are more
and I don't
sex
think they all
positive
know.
these days.
Yeah, I don't think they all know each other. Like I'm sure Damson is. First of all, he's just blowing up because of Snowfall, so he's probably a little starstruck too. They're in two different lanes, but even though these people are rich and they're stars in their lane. They probably still feel like the person in the other lane is also a star. Like for athletes, rappers are stars. For rappers, athletes are stars, and so on. So and again, for him, he like Lori Harvey is a catch for him. He don't look like the type. I know people are that people are warming up to him, but when you get money, you start to look. It's easier to
You
look
start to
better.
look
You
good.
get people start to look. You can make it happen. But
You know?
um,
I don't get it.
plus Lori Harvey, yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna say that. That's it. She
Yeah,
could
Lori
also
Harvey.
help his. She is, but she could also help his.
And that's
She
why I
could help
think these
his
relationships are
likeness.
scripted. I think these relationships are totally scripted.
Well,
Because
she didn't.
No,
She
I
was
just
with
pulled up a picture of that.
she was with
I
Michael
know who
B.
you're talking
Jordan,
about.
right?
yeah, for a little span of time and then gone.
Nah, EJ, I think you're wrong here, though. This dude probably feeling himself. He definitely upgraded. He's definitely dating.
That's a win
He's
for him.
definitely punching above his weight when I'm looking at the
Right.
two of them together. So
Right.
He's
hey,
one of the most. They said he's one of the most desired black men in Hollywood
mm,
today.
yeah, I don't know who they are though. So I can't judge
Right.
them.
They,
Exactly. They.
the same people that had Jermaine's on the cover in pink.
Mm,
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Nah, I'm not about that life. Um. All right, man. A little bit over 2. I don't know if there's anything else that we have to talk about right now. Anything like pressing VP? I know nothing's going on because the Republicans hate
We ain't
Democrats,
got
so they're
time. We ain't got time
not
for
doing anything.
politics. Aaron Rodgers, come on, Green Bay. Stop the shit. Send my man Aaron Rodgers to New York. You know what I mean? Let's get this deal done.
yeah, it's gonna be funny. Y'all signed all these players y'all don't want for Aaron Rodgers, and he ends up in Indianapolis.
What players we
Or
don't want?
Tennessee,
What players we don't want? We got some good players. What
Alan
players we
Lazard.
don't
Tennessee,
want?
I just
Alan
yeah.
Lazard is the top receiver. Nicole Hardman is second in yak.
Go ahead, VP, take us out because he's talking. He's just talking to talk now. Alan Lazard is a top receiver.
He's not. He's not a top. He's not a top guy. He's a good.
No,
Stop.
He's a
He's a
top
number
guy
one
for us.
guy because they ain't have nobody else. No, you
Okay.
guys had better than him, Elijah Moore. I would have rathered Elijah Moore over Lazard personally.
The same kid who
He just
last
don't want to
year.
be there.
Yeah, so fuck him, and he's 5'8". Like, okay. I mean, we got offensive rookie of the year. We okay. We good. We
Y'all
got
need to.
Corey
Y'all need
Davis.
what
We're
y'all
gonna
need
get
to
rid
do
of
is
Corey Davis.
y'all need to get y'all running back room in control. They out there tweeting all wild because they heard the Zeke rumors.
Yeah. Brees Hall
That's
was wild.
yeah. They need to
He was
fix
wilding.
that.
He was wilding. But I mean, listen, if we get Aaron Rodgers, y'all already know what it is in AFC East. Y'all already know. And
oh my God.
Tua's not even gonna. I don't even know why we playing this game with Tua, yo. Why are we playing this game?
What
Tua's
game?
not gonna play a healthy. He's not gonna play a full season. He's not.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the game you're speaking of. You talking about picking up the 5th year option?
All right, we all right. We don't have a long time, so let's do this. EJ, if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, how many games do they win?
11.
11. VP,
I
you
say
agree with
11.
that?
Yeah, 11,
Okay.
just based off the schedule.
I mean, we
the
won 7 last year.
current state of the Dolphins. How many games do they win? EJ,
So we don't get the if Tua is healthy.
if Tua is healthy,
No, he
yeah,
said
that's fine.
current state of the Dolphins. I give him 10.
We're assuming he's healthy. He's healthy right now, right?
Right.
I give him
Well,
10.
they won 11 last year. So you're saying they're gonna win less games next year?
Mm-hmm. I give him 10.
What you got, VP?
I would say
With a
if Tua is
healthy Tua.
with a healthy Tua, 13 games.
Ooh, that's a big punch, but I can see it. Ramsey's good. You guys need a running back though.
Jalen
Okay.
Ramsey is a shell of himself. They keep spending money on these quarterbacks that don't play well, and they keep ending up in the same position. Steve, how many games are the Cowboys winning? In the current state of Cowboys
Next year, fuck, man. I'm not super confident about it.
I am.
I like some of the moves
Eagles are
that
breaking in.
no, I like the Eagles. Well, you said are they gonna? You said how many games? You didn't say about winning the division. I still think we win the division, but I don't know that it's. I think the NFC East starts to fall a little bit next year. Giants didn't get much better. They decided Daniel Jones was the guy. Eagles are breaking up. I think we've gotten better. We're the one team that's gotten better with signings and stuff, but we also are banking on Pollard. So post draft, I'll know a little more. If we can get Bijan, that's how you say his name, Robinson. If we can get him, that changes some things a little bit. But I got us at 10, 11 right now.
That's fair.
12, I'll go 12 because there's because we have that extra game.
That's fair.
17.
Yeah, I think that's fair. My whole thing with 13 is I'm looking at it like this. If Tua is healthy, we won 11 games. So, with a healthy Tua, there's games we lost that we would have won if Tua plays.
And you guys had no cornerbacks last season.
They still don't.
You still got Xavier, right?
Still got Xavier Howard. Just picked up Jalen Ramsey. Brought back Nick Needham. Bringing back Trill.
Jalen Ramsey won't even play.
I don't know.
You heard it. You heard it here first. Jalen Ramsey's not even going to play a full season. Got rid of Mike Gesicki.
We didn't get rid of Gesicki. He wanted to test free agency.
Running back room is a mess.
This will be interesting. You still have a baby. You still have a baby beater on your team, so
yeah. and the whole Tua argument, I don't know. It's just smart business. You pick up Tua's 5th-year option, so you don't.
Nobody argued that. He's just a shit quarterback to me. Still, he hasn't proven me shit.
He beat your team
this year.
Where's Lamar Jackson going to play next year? Any changes to y'all thoughts from the last 2 weeks?
I don't think he stays in Baltimore. I think at this point, it's probably gotten to the point where it's principle now. He's like, I'm not doing it.
He's going to sit out if he has to.
I was going to say, you think there's any chance that he holds out?
I would if I was him. I would. Okay. If anybody needs to bet on themselves, it's him.
All right. Next week we got to start with football.
Right, and I think real quick on Lamar, I think
real quick
he needs to go out super petty with Baltimore.
Yeah, there's nothing real quick
because they're being petty. I think he needs to be just as petty. He needs to keep him on the leash, act like he's going to come back, and then when it gets to June, it's that deadline for him to sign. Be like, I'm never playing for the Ravens again.
Yeah, it could hurt though. It could hurt him because if let's say he sits out and they win 13 games, like. That changes some stuff. Huntley is the same type of QB. He's expendable. People question stuff, right? He's also been injury prone. He sat out a whole season. If Deshaun Watson comes back next season and he's trash after sitting a season out, now people are really going to question Lamar after sitting out a season. You know what I mean? Like all of that comes into play. I would still do it. I agree with you. He should not play for them. He should sit it out. But I don't know what it does for his value is all I'm saying.
No, I hear what you're saying. I just disagree. I mean, we're in a quarterback league. It's about talent. He has to.
But he's black, Vari. That's the thing. He's black.
True enough.
He's black.
Sean
That's
Watson's
it.
Black too. With 28 sexual assault allegations.
No, it's different. They even said, the owners even said Deshaun Watson's deal would have never got done anywhere else, and it messed up the league. We all know black quarterbacks ain't getting second chances like that. Just not.
I got you, but one did. So, and Lamar Jackson don't got no sexual assault allegations that I'm aware of.
Yeah, he's also
Cleveland,
not playing
Cleveland
ball.
Cleveland was desperate, bro. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Like,
Exactly.
wait,
That's my point.
it's 28, not 30. All right,
Yeah.
all right. If he gets
You
to 30, we might pull our contract back.
You
But
think
if he
you
stay
think
on,
Indy's desperate? You think Atlanta's desperate?
He ain't going to no Indianapolis, and I already said Atlanta. I told y'all Atlanta, so
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
with
think
you on
Atlanta's
that.
desperate. I don't think Atlanta's desperate. Well, let me take it back. We're talking about a different desperate. So I'm talking about like
That's
Cleveland was,
Deshaun Watson was an unprecedented level of
yeah,
desperate.
like that. That was desperation level 10. Indy, yes, desperate, probably at level 6 or 7. So I could see him playing there, no doubt. I could see them giving him a major bag.
The same
But
place where Reggie Miller got death threats. I don't think
Are
so.
the Jets desperate?
We're getting there.
mm,
We're getting
Yeah,
there.
no, you're already there. You about to give Aaron Rodgers $60 million.
No, we're
I mean,
not about
I
to
know we're
give Aaron
negotiating the
Rodgers.
money, but still,
Yeah, no.
yeah,
And
$60
Aaron
million
Rodgers is
contract.
a
They're trying
Super
to pick it
Bowl.
up.
Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl MVP that
A little
even
bit
last
long in the
year,
tooth, EJ.
he was better than any
He's a
quarterback
little bit
that
long
suited
in the
up for
tooth.
Miami. Even last year, he's better than any quarterback that suited up for Miami or any division, any guy in our division. Because
He
according to
was about
y'all,
to
Josh
lose to
Allen
Miami if
ain't
Tua
that
didn't get
good.
a concussion.
Yeah, if Tua didn't get his 16th concussion, if this nigga
listen,
Tua, are
man,
you kidding me?
someone has to have a conversation, and one day, VP, you gonna be real and say that the Dolphins are handling that man wrong, because if he has another concussion and they don't sit his ass down and say, "Hey, you're
You
done,"
shouldn't even be. You had
your
expert fans
organization,
shouldn't even play the game anymore.
Experts on TV.
No, medical experts said that.
On
doctors.
TV.
Is he
Doctors who
serious?
haven't examined
Is this
him.
the same guy that says protect the players? Is this the same guy?
It is. But EJ, come on, dog. Like
Except when it comes to the
we're
Dolphins.
acting like the Dolphins doctors didn't examine Tua's own doctors.
Yeah, but these
Tua,
aren't knees and ankle injuries though. Like
I
there's a
get that.
difference when you're talking about a knee, a back, an ankle. This is neurological brain shit that you
I
can
get that.
only tell but so much from.
So
Right. And I'm
the
not
same person,
discounting what y'all are
the
saying.
same
What I'm
person
saying,
that talked about CTE said Tua should not play. So when we talk about CTE, he's an expert there, but not with Tua. What the fuck are
I'm
we
not
talking
saying the
about?
person is not an expert. What I'm saying is that the Dolphins have done their due diligence.
The
Tua
Dolphins
did
don't
his
give
due
a shit.
diligence.
We know that. This is the same
How do you
organization
know
that
that? You
told,
keep saying we know that. How do we know that? Because we
because
don't. I don't know
it's the
that.
same organization that told your head coach to lose games. They don't give a shit about any of your players. They don't give a shit about your fans. You even said that. You even said the owners don't care about us. Oh, silence.
Because I think you're full of shit right now, dude. Like to say that
Gotti.
to say that they're not having this dude checked out. You know what I mean? Like,
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
okay, so they've had him checked out. He's been checked out on his own. As
What
far as
Steve said
everybody
is y'all
knows,
don't
he
care
can still
about that.
play.
What Steve said, y'all don't care about that motherfucker.
Yo, before we get out of here, you know, people was like, "Yo, would you take $50,000 or $500,000 or the dinner with Jay-Z?"
I take the 500 grand.
Motherfuckers was motherfuckers said they take $250 in food stamps over dinner with Soldier Boy.
What?
And he mad. Soldier Boy mad. He was on social media. He mad because somebody said they'll take $250 worth of food stamp. That's fucked up.
I would take the 500 grand. I don't think a dinner with Jay-Z is gonna be that illuminating.
Ain't gonna
No,
get
no,
you
no.
shit.
No, I
Shit,
like
man.
Jay-Z, but give me the money. Give me that money.
Beanie Siegel used
There's
to eat
always some
dinner with
people
Jay-Z.
like, oh, you can learn so much from him, and then you could take that
Nah.
knowledge, and then you could make
And you can
millions.
flip it.
500
You
would
could be a
nothing.
billionaire too. Nigga,
Like, come on,
please.
man.
That's
Exactly.
almost like saying the waiter that served Jay-Z is gonna be a billionaire too now. Like,
Right.
come on, bro. Like, people are stupid. People are
Yeah, I think
stupid.
that conversation changes if you're an established artist that has millions already. You know what I mean? And you're looking to, you know,
Well, then
bring your
500
career
grand
to
don't
another
mean
level.
shit to you.
But that's what I
'Cause
mean.
you already got
You're
it.
taking it to another level. But
But the question is
listen,
always posed for like people like us. You know, would you take 500 grand
I
or dinner
don't
with
think.
Jay-Z?
Yeah,
500 grand.
I don't think there's anybody out there that I
Right.
would rather take dinner with over 500 grand. You know,
Exactly.
like nobody.
Exactly.
No, nobody. Not a one. All right, VP, do us the honors. Or
Tua
don't.
sucks.
Oh
Oh,
my!
yeah.
I was waiting for you to say, "Do us the honors and go and get on us up out of here," or whatever. Whatever. You just stop short. So I was waiting for you to. My
I'm
bad.
trying to just change things up, a little parody around here.
I got you,
Suicide.
brother. I got you. All right, everybody. Who we definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us this weekend on this episode of the Cast Worthy Podcast. Went a little long, but for those who stayed throughout, we definitely appreciate you guys. The ones who joined and listened live, commented, we definitely appreciate you guys doing that as well. Shout out to Chris in the chat on Facebook. Appreciate you, brother. Um, you know, since I got the mic right now, I'm going to take a point of personal privilege and give a shout out to my Miami Hurricanes going to the
We can't hear you.
this. This fucking guy. Anyway, shout out to the Hurricanes. Making it to the Elite Eight, and good luck tonight going to the Final Four. Shout out to Florida Atlantic, all the good people in Boca Raton. Pretty sure they having a moment right now, making it to the Final Four. San Diego
sure.
State, all those small schools. I'm pretty sure this is a good highlight for them on campus, and fans and students, etc. Anyway, like we always say, man, make that phone call, send that text message, reach out to somebody, let them know you're thinking about them. You can find our podcast on all podcasting platforms by searching Castworthy. You can also find us on any of our social media by searching Castworthy. On Instagram, it's at Castworthy_podcast. While you're there, leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, be like Chris, and we definitely would appreciate it. Help us grow the audience. And with that said, we will see you guys on the next episode of the Castworthy Podcast. We out. We love you. Peace.